Star Wars saved my life. Like,
Star Wars
to make
saved my
opportunities
life.
available that were made to me.
And pretend like you know how to do it. I didn't at all.
To make opportunities available.
I'm grateful to be allowed as a filmmaker.
I didn't at all.
Weird.
No matter if we like the movies or not, it's difficult to deny the originality and impact of Star Wars. How did we get from the visions and ideas for the first movies to the visions and ideas of modern-day Star Wars? Visions and ideas that are more focused on politics and ideology than movie-making quality. What are the pitfalls of this modern mindset? In her revealing interview with Fortune, Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm, made her focus and ideology clear. Gender is the first thing she notices, not skills.
Recently went to a Saturday Night Live taping, and I was sitting at the front row of the balcony, and I leaned over and I was looking at a number of the people on the floor operating camera, and I turned to my husband and I said, "Look, there are no women." And it was 1973 that I was hired as a camera operator, and there are still no women.
And how was Kathleen hired? Surely it was because of undeniable talent, right?
I went to this party of colleagues in Vermont, and this woman walked up to me and she said, "You're Kathy Kennedy, aren't you?" I said, "Well, I work for a law firm in Washington, D.C., and we filed a petition to deny against the station that you were working for. And we made a condition of the license that they hire women in technical positions, and you were one of them, and we've been watching you." So I at least felt good that I had managed to use the job in a way that has put me where I am today.
The thing that's remarkable here is her willingness to admit that she wasn't hired because of her talent, but because of a quota. One of the consequences of hiring people based on anything other than talent and integrity is that it creates entitlement. People feeling entitled to positions because of the group they belong to, not because of what they've earned. Kathleen encourages people to view themselves as group members first and foremost, not as individuals with very different opinions and goals, despite their group membership. Kathleen's ideology permeates her thinking to such a degree that she supposedly can't see why the movie industry doesn't have equality of outcome, which is what her idea of equality is about.
And there are still no women. And that's just, it's completely unacceptable. I have no idea why we can't change that.
She has no idea why. Really? How about the reality that men and women choose different jobs? It's so strange how people like Kathleen don't want equality when it comes to being a sanitation worker. Unacceptable points to the legalistic nature of this worldview. Unacceptable is a call to action, because of course, each individual can't just make their own choices. They can't be entrusted with that kind of freedom. In the following, she keeps implying legalism.
There are people involved in powerful positions who are just not trying hard enough to make opportunities available that were made to me, over 35 years ago, that people are not reaching out and trying to make those opportunities available today.
She uses words with positive connotations, opportunities, and making available. However, what do the words actually mean? What is she actually referring to? She's referring to privileges, that certain privileges should be made available to certain groups of people at the expense of other groups of people, the same way she was given privileges.
Can you talk about what you're doing today, not only hiring women at Lucasfilm, but also in producing the new Star Wars episode, what you've done to instill more strong
Well, one of the
characters?
things, the fact that the company was bought by the Walt Disney Company has been amazing because they very much support the fact that we are trying to grow in the workforce, a number of women in executive positions and in all positions inside the company, and with the movies that we're making and with the protagonists that we're putting in the stories. So I get a huge amount of support with that. But we have 50% of our executive team are women. Mm-hmm. And 6 out of 8 of the people in my story group are women. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be surprised that we're making Star Wars movies, and the majority of the people involved in the development of those stories are women.
Kathleen's points have nothing to do with actual filmmaking, interesting plot lines, or talent. It all comes down to one thing: innate characteristics, what you look like, and thus which group you belong to, according to Kathleen. She mentions Disney. Surely Disney's top priority is still original ideas and riveting storylines, right?
I'm a big believer in that, whether you call it diversity or inclusion. But the bottom line is that doing so is good for commerce.
You are opening so many doors for your whole community as well. Like,
yeah, I mean, and obviously for my community, it's a huge moment. You just want to do right by your community so badly. And I know that Snow White is a huge moment for them, as is the Hunger Games.
Doing so is good for commerce.
Bob Iger went as far as firing people who weren't as innovative as he is. But of course, he didn't call it firing.
What was clear to me is that if that adherence or the reverence that people had within the company for that heritage continued, it would get in the way of innovation. In some cases, it meant changing out personnel.
Because of course, we must never doubt that Bob's innovative. The marketing for Snow White is proof of that.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
In some cases, it meant taking some, big, bold decisions.
Weird.
Big, bold decisions.
The fact that influential people like Kathleen and Bob prioritize ideology over the very things that made Hollywood great to begin with explains the current problems with unoriginal movies with the same simplistic, politically correct themes, and fans giving up on franchises they loved when they were young. However, influential people like Kathleen and Bob are paid too much money to care. This ideology, or pretend ideology for perceived financial benefits, has created a generation of actors, actresses, producers, and directors who, first of all, might not even have the talent and integrity to do what they do, and secondly, aren't interested in the art of filmmaking or the old franchises they are hired to carry on.
Young filmmakers, especially young women, ask me, if I want to become a filmmaker, what do I do? I'm always like, when that happens, say yes. Don't say, I don't know how to make a movie, because men don't say that. Dudes roll out of film school, throw on a Spielberg hat, and go, I know everything that I'm doing.
Except for the fact that if you don't know how to make a movie, you don't know how to make a movie. Great advice to make sure that the audience will get a great experience.
And the reality is that you can do it. Like, you just have to have the confidence to walk in there and pretend like you know how to do it.
Pretend. Is this a speaker at a fake empowerment event or a representative of one of the most iconic franchises in the world? I like her focus on skills and integrity.
I'm telling you guys, like, the truth. Like, that's how I made my first film, was that I was like, I know what's going on. I didn't at all. And I think it shows in the movie. But I got to make my first one, which helped me to make my second one. And the second one will help me make the third one. And then I stopped because they won't let women make more than 3.
Or maybe they won't let anyone make more than 3, regardless of gender. But way to play on people's indignation to avoid holding yourself accountable, even though she's the one hinting at why she's only made 3.
I know what's going on. I didn't at all. And I think it shows.
To people who are entitled, enough is never enough. But if you oppose their mindset, you're a hater or against progress, or whatever disingenuous term is trending this week.
In the movie. But I got to make my first one.
With this emphasis, she reveals what's most important to her, to get to make movies. It's not about movie-making quality, skills, or earning it. This advice about a pretend mentality is revealing. Unintentionally, it makes it difficult to believe anything she's saying. This mentality is identical to Alyssa Heinerscheid's, the vice president of marketing for Bud Light.
And I want to share with you something that I heard, probably the most impactful piece of advice I've ever heard. This woman, Beth Comstock.
Mm-hmm. I've seen her speak, and she's amazing.
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 And so she had this fantastic answer. She talked about faking it
It speaks volumes that this is the kind of advice she considers to be fantastic, advice that talented people would disregard instantly.
Number one, she was like, I fake it all the time. And you realize the more senior you get, everybody's faking it. And it's so true. Everyone doesn't really know what they're talking about.
This is disingenuous, wishful thinking, Heinerscheid wishing that she's not the only one who has to fake it. Leslie's pretend mentality, which is based on entitlement, on having the right to be in a certain position, irrespective of credentials, can make the entitled person feel like an imposter.
It has been tough and tense and a struggle, and I struggled a ton in the early part of my career with imposter syndrome, just not feeling like I was good enough.
Heinerscheid feels like an imposter because she is an imposter. The rhetorical question then becomes, how can an imposter convincingly and successfully lead other people? Leslie's pretend mentality is a natural consequence of years and years of focusing on ideology as opposed to movie-making quality. The mentality is in perfect alignment with what Lucasfilm, Disney, and many other companies stand for today, and makes it difficult, if not impossible, to believe anything they say. Leslie has told us, or insinuated, two things about herself: that the most important thing for her is to get to make movies, and that she doesn't mind pretending. Thus, she herself has paved the way for doubt about the sincerity of her statements. And her interview about the upcoming series, The Acolyte, gives plenty of opportunity to doubt her sincerity. In the following, Leslie's busy giving answers that are about as generic as answers get.
Now, I'm a big fan of The High Republic. I know you're a big fan of Star Wars The High Republic, but you're the first person to take a stab at bringing The High Republic to life in live action with your show, The Acolyte. What's that been like for you?
Well, it's so exciting. I mean, as somebody that grew up both with, obviously George's films and then the release of the special editions, like for a long period of time, I'm not going to age myself, but the extended universe and a lot of that publishing was really the only Star Wars that I had. And so what I love about the High Republic is that it's kind of in the grand tradition of what Star Wars was for the fans for a really long time, which is, both these kind of high concept, beautifully rendered stories, but at the same time, pulpy action, and the kind of stuff that we always love and adore about Star Wars in the live action. So I wanted to get to have the opportunity to bring both of those things together was so exciting to me. So from a narrative standpoint, that was the case. Beautifully rendered stories, but at the same time, pulpy action.
Thousands of movies could fit that generic description. It isn't specific to Star Wars. Yet that doesn't stop Leslie from claiming that it's the kind of stuff that we always love and adore about Star Wars. By the way, I appreciate the inclusivity with the pronoun we. I have no doubt that most fans have a special bond with Leslie, so the pronoun doesn't sound forced at all.
To get to have the opportunity to bring both of those things together.
The intention to bring together beautifully rendered stories, whatever that means, it's extremely subjective, and action is very generic. However, her tone of voice and the time she takes to answer the very short question give the impression that she's saying something profound. The next excerpt is even more profound and awesome, that too.
Awesome. And this is your first Star Wars celebration, and I believe yesterday you were part of the studio showcase and you got brought to stage by a Wookiee Jedi.
I did. I did get brought on stage by a character I created, Wookiee Jedi Master named Kel Naka. I couldn't pass up the idea of having a Wookiee Jedi in live action. I just as soon as it was established in the High Republic that was a thing that could happen, I was like, get it in here. Let's go. Action.
Yes, please.
Why waste time talking about interesting ideas or concepts? The Acolyte must have a lot to offer when this is what they choose to talk about in order to underline Leslie's ethos.
I did get brought on stage by a character I created.
But wait, what was it that she said?
And pretend like you know how to do it. I didn't at all.
Too late for the ethos tactic. For contrast, this is how David Lynch talked about his movie Lost Highway from a much different era. when Hollywood was also, or maybe even mostly, about ideas.
And so, what does the mind do after something like that? How does the mind protect itself from that knowledge and go on? And the mind is interesting, for sure. Huge, huge stories in the mind. How does the mind trick itself so that that can be put in a place where it no longer has that, horrific power, and you go on living?
Brought to stage by a Wookiee Jedi.
I did.
We love Wookiees, we love Jedi. You know we're gonna love a Wookiee Jedi.
Seems kind of like inevitable, honestly, but yes, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Leslie and the interviewer sure have a lot to talk about. Absolutely. In the following, the absence of ideas and the bigger message is made clear. Prepare for stalling.
What's different about this era that will surprise fans who maybe haven't discovered the High Republic yet? Maybe they aren't into the books and comics just yet. Maybe this is their first step into
If
that
this
larger
were your
world.
first step, and I hope, if it were, I hope that I do the fans proud, because it is such a beautiful, rich, gorgeous world that people should be investing into as fans, especially again, as a fan myself that grew up with a lot of publishing as opposed to media, because we just didn't have any media the way that we do now. I hope that if you watch The Acolyte, it does inspire you to get further into the High Republic, and the publishing phase 1 was incredible. I think it was just astonishing.
She took 30 seconds to get to that she hopes it'll make people get further into the High Republic. Sounds deep. By the way, incredible and astonishing are synonyms. That's one of the downsides to stalling. You end up with needless repetitions in order to sound assertive and profound.
And the publishing phase 1 was incredible. I think it was just astonishing.
It's also one of the downsides to pretending.
And pretend like you know how to do it. I didn't at all.
Next, she finally finds something to say or make something up.
Astonishing. I think that one of the things that would be helpful to kind of put in perspective is that we're at the end of that era and moving more into George's era of the Phantom Menace.
50 seconds.
So my question became, as a fan, when I initially pitched the show to Kathleen, which was an original idea with new characters and not connecting it to Skywalker Saga or any of the existing characters in the High Republic. What I wanted to introduce the fans to the concept too was, how do you reconcile the Jedi at the height of their power, the galaxy at the height of this age of enlightenment and peace, and who George says they become at the top of the Phantom Menace.
And what have they become? What were the Jedi's like at the height of their power? And how is any of this supposed to appeal to fans or potential fans?
And to me, that meant, why don't you tell a story about Star Wars from the perspective of the villains, of the bad guys?
1 minute and 30 seconds later, Leslie finally says something substantive. I'm sure it's going to resonate with fans, new as well as old, especially because she came up with this in no time. But why talk about interesting ideas when you can resort to pathos for applause?
I just have to say, it is such an honor to be here. Like, Star Wars saved my life. Like, I know that we... It's like...
Yes, because that's how great directors and producers brand a movie, a series. They appeal to people's emotion and pity. Could this be an indirect admission that she knows that the material isn't very good? Leslie's quick to move on, which is strange considering this authentic emotional outburst.
Even the truth is, like, we are so spoiled now with Star Wars media. I know that it can feel sometimes like, well, I like this thing and I don't like that thing, and if you don't like the Acolyte, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Like,
I'm totally convinced that she thinks it's fine, especially because she even mentions it. Once again, it truly sounds like the Acolyte has a lot to offer, and she doesn't sound worried about people's reaction to it at all.
The reality is that Star Wars in and of itself is not just a vast universe full of many different characters, many different eras, but it is always, always, always about the spiritual journey of what it is to become who you are. And that's why
That's the deep message I was hoping for. Become who you are. I think I've only heard that 1,000 times in marketing with the same inclusive ideology. Spiritual journey is one of my favorite platitudes. I can easily imagine Harrison Ford saying the same. This word choice makes me wonder what Leslie meant by beautifully rendered stories. I wonder if the fans define beautiful the same way. That's why Leslie avoids definitions and sticks to cliches. Definitions lead to disagreement. And next, it's time for more of the like me for no reason tactic.
That's why I am so overwhelmed and grateful to be here, and beyond overwhelmed and grateful to be allowed as a filmmaker to experience what it is like to actually tactilely make something in this world.
And how was she allowed to tactilely make something in this world? Well, she's already mentioned Kathleen, so
to make opportunities available that were made to me.
There's no doubt in my mind that she's grateful. Her other interview was an ode to gratitude.
They won't let women make more than 3.
With Hollywood's focus on ideology or pretend ideology, Leslie's insincerity will have a safe space in years to come, while people will continue to see bad movies and series. Because as Leslie says when it comes to whether or not people will like The Acolyte,
it doesn't matter,
doesn't matter.
That statement could have come from most Hollywood executives. What do you think about the interviews? Let us know in the comments.
You might be thinking, who is this Harry Potter girl?
UN Women's Global Goodwill Ambassador.
If not me, who? It is time that we all perceive gender on a spectrum.
Where have you been in terms of your gender and your gender identity?
Women are choosing not to identify as feminist.
I'm a feminist!
This has to stop.
Nah, let's put something else on. How about... Weird. Been liking It's a Gundam. Been watching a lot of It's a Gundam. Curses of the Sonichu Medallion.
Covered many of these items and videos over the course of years, but none are as powerful as the Sonichu medallions. Chris Chan, the creator of Sonichu, was in turn cursed by his own creation, if you really think about it. Had Chris Chan never created Sonichu and the medallion, maybe, just maybe, Chris Chan would have been damn near normal.
It's not...
For a person with severe autism, you know, just really think about it. He would have never met the miscreants, would have never become trans, probably wouldn't have diddled his mother. There's just this whole different life that could have been had Sonichu not manifested. The first medallion kept Chris Chan from finding a boyfriend-free girl. Lest we forget, his many escapades at high school or community college, wherever he was at the time, led to Mary Lee Walsh deciding to press charges against him and ripping down his love. What is this thing? Let me zoom into this. I can't read this shit. It looks like chicken scratch. 21 and single, white male. 18 to 20 plus of age, does not already have a boyfriend, is single. Average to slender body type. Yeah, don't be fat for Chris Chan, you stupid bitch. White, lives in Charlottesville or Rutgersville area. Does not smoke or drink alcohol. Happy, positive personality. Average to high income. Drives a vehicle. These seems like the talking points you'd get from a woman in your average dating profile these days. Chris Chan just knew what Chris Chan deserved. All right, let's just skip ahead because I could do this all day. There was the Megan Schroeder debacle that ended in a simple phrase in a piece of very provocative art called "She Came for Quick." Look it up yourself. The first medallion was sent to some troll posing as a potential sweetheart for Chris Chan. It was then destroyed, smashed, and I believe pissed on. The second medallion was broken in half, and Chris Chan was Chris Chan was forced to shove it up his own ass at the demands of a troll known as Blue Spike.
Cut it into two. While you shove it up your ass, scream. Zap him to the extreme, okay? Oh, I see brown stains. Did you crap your pants, really?
No way, bro.
More. Shove it up, more.
Why? Who was posing as a girl that was interested in Chris Chan, who was his true sweetheart by the name of... Well, anyway, Blue Spike was threatening Chris Chan that he would give his information to Chris Hansen from To Catch a Predator. This was not optimal for Chris Chan. These are some bad optics. Since Blue Spike was a twisted 14-year-old boy, needless to say, if anything, Blue Spike is probably a serial killer by now. So, with all this information at the fingertips of Chris Hansen, Chris Chan had no other choice but to jam the medallion up his butt. He also shit his pants during the medallion stuffing. I think the miscreants did give Chris Chan back his PSN account, so all's well that ends well, I suppose. High five! The third and fourth Sonichu medallions accompanied Chris Chan. One of them actually looked like vomit that was shaped into the head of a Sonic. Whatever. These medallions accompanied Chris Chan on many more adventures, like transitioning, spraying a GameStop worker with pepper spray over the Sonic game, where Sonic now had blue arms instead of tan arms. Then there was the famous mom diddling and jail time for said mom bopping. We're just gonna skip over the Chris Chan tomboy phase. I mean, Tom girl phase. I can't, dude. I can't.
YouTube trans star Chris Chan, 39, is arrested for incest charges after...
Oh, boy.
Diddling her 79-year-old dementia-suffering mother.
Remember when there was a time that literally this sort of headline was something you'd only read in The Onion, and now it's literally reality. If I were to focus solely on Chris Chan, it could go for hours. So let's move on. Personally, I believe the Sanchu medallions curse any foolish enough to don it upon their necks. It's like the rings of Sauron. You know, if it had crippling autism and mommy bopping energy. Instead of becoming invisible, you apparently throw your career or life away. Or you simp for a gassed up mid that does only bands. 9 years ago, iDubbbz opened a box with a cursed item in it. This video was entitled Straight Outta Compton, a bad unboxing. 9 million people saw this man seal his fate, and still they didn't see it coming. Need I say more, really? He is now a content meme wraith, a mere shadow of his former self, terrorizing the airwaves with his incredibly boring podcast, while his wife sells booty pictures.
I like when people call me a succubus unironically because it means that I'm at least in some capacity hot to someone.
Right. You're achieving something.
I'm hot to someone.
Right.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Because to be a succubus is, I mean...
Yeah, think they're insulting you. They're like, you succubus, you damn temptress,
Yeah.
you siren, and it's
I also like being called a witch.
Yeah.
I'm like half Irish and we're pagan witches.
These are all sick things for women to be.
Yeah, it's
like
cool to be a witch.
Yeah.
Even to go as far as having him take the photos of her on their wedding day, if you can believe it. I'm not joking. Fortunately for iDubbbz, his medallion was made by a cosplayer, so it was Chris Chan adjacent. It may have lacked the full power of the
Chris
genuine
Chan
article,
adjacent.
but it was more than enough to destroy any damn dirty troll. According to Kino Casino, who keeps up with all this garbage that I pay no attention to, iDubbbz is quitting the internet and social media again, and he said that he may have to work for UPS because there's no money in YouTube, which is a good move. UPS drivers start at $170,000 a year with insurance. That's a whole lot more than YouTube, and you get insurance. And then advertise your wife's only your coworkers. Oops. Stop him! The only person to bear the medallion of the cursed Chan and suffer no ill effects was Liquid Chris. His medallion was made of paper, so it wasn't as powerful as other talismans of Chris Chan. On a sadder note, another wearer of the Sonichu medallion was Donovan, aka Crypt Daddy. I believe he first started posting the meme of him dressing as Chris Chan in April of 2023. As always, Donovan was funny. Every time he would repost it replying to someone. Crypt Daddy seemed immortal. I remember one of the last things he said to me.
Happened in the same day?
Oh, no, not the same day.
What?
Actually, credit card fraud happened. I couldn't get that
Really?
out.
Actually?
Yes.
Never mind. Go ahead. That's fine. I
Thank
give
you.
you permission.
I always loved interacting with that guy. But sadly, 4 months after posting himself wearing the Sonichu medallion, he died. Right after doing a collab with JonTron, which arguably was probably the first time a lot of people got exposed to his brand of comedy and saw the genius of his existence. It wasn't really fair. This could be coincidence or truly the curse of the Sonichu medallion. I then started to look up his medallion and study it. With all the years of autism I had gained from studying Star Wars costumes, and I realized Donovan actually bought a true handmade Sonichu by Chris Chan. Here are some random posts of other people that supposedly suffered ill fates of the Chris Chan medallions. And we can only hope that they're memes.
My aunt is trying to determine the value of things my cousin, who bubbled himself with fire a couple weeks ago, owned. This was one of those things.
A Sonichu medallion number 36. So this may have been one of the true originals. This cat's owner thought it would be really funny to put a medallion around the cat's neck. The cat then died of kidney failure 2 years later. Coincidence? I sure hope so. Finally, this brings us to the subject at hand. Nick Rakita, the most recent victim of the Sonichu curse. In October of 2023, Nick was sent an unmarked box with a letter.
I got this anonymous letter, or the anonymous package. It was postage not paid. Like, I had to pay the postage on it to receive it. And the post office was like, well, where was it sent from? And it had my address as the return address with me as the sendee, which is not true. And in it had this burned piece of paper, which I feel like I'm going to get serial rape here. It says, the stars are aligned. A new host is chosen. Hail unto thee, Nick Chan Rakitachu. And then with that came this, and this was so weird because this came before the mention of Sonic in the trademark dispute that we were talking about last night. A Sonichu medallion has been passed to me. I don't know where this came from. I don't know what it means other than what it means, but that is that happened. That happened. It cost me $2 to pay the postage on it.
Cast it into the fire! Destroy it!
And with that, the curse of Chris Chan was set in motion. Within 7 months, Nick Rakita went from being coherent, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed to doing rails and nailing other people's wives, allegedly. But according to Steel Toe Morning Show, it's true. Because it was his ex-wife, and he says he saw it.
Said he was counseling your marriage. I mean, if by counseling you mean, you know... Yeah, he was counseling my marriage like I was counseling his.
Nick went full Hunter Biden. He went from, Catboy streams and telling Medicare he was waiting for him to die so he could profit off of his passing.
I'm like, Jim, goddamn it. Let me get your death interview. All I want to do is to make all the money on Earth off of your death. God damn it. I don't care if you live like an anime dungeon or whatever. With all sorts of hentai in it. All of us would do that.
And I have to admit, I LOL'd when I saw that clip.
I will redeem my one laugh because the Medicore curse is eternal. Thanks for Elisa for censoring the no-no words.
I'm sure Review Tech USA will hold a candlelight vigil when I'm gone. As DSP snorts out loud defiantly, good riddance to bad rubbish. I have another theory, that Nick Rakita triple cursed himself. Hear me out here, all right? Number one, Chris Chan's Sonichu curse medallion wearing it, okay? Number two, the Medicare curse. And finally, the third curse, Dark Side Phil. The unholy trinity. Nick was collecting curses like infinity gems. According to the lore, because I forgot where the video is and I'm not looking for it, Nick Rakita offered to help DSP sue his trolls pro bono.
Have no idea what you're talking about. It sounds like you're trying to get drama stirred up. I don't know what you're talking about, nor do I care. None of that. If you've heard anything, it's completely untrue. Is a lawyer. Nick Riccietta is a YouTuber. He is a YouTuber. His full-time job is making YouTube videos. Yes, they might have a legal nature, but he's a YouTuber and a streamer. He doesn't sit there at a law firm working all day. What are you talking about? Oh my God. People who are real lawyers actually sit there doing law all day because that's their job. They don't sit there making YouTube videos and streaming. I hate to tell you this. You're sorely mistaken.
Nick Rakita hears this, and later on one of his many drunken streams that I LOL'd at, Nick Rakita told Darkside Phil to go f himself.
I'm serious. I don't care to hunt it down.
Shit really hit the fan and blew the coke off the table when the infamous gooning stream / alleged sloppy toppy, depending on who you ask, happened. Keto Casino boosted the audio and heard a woman in the background, supposedly under the table. Then Steel Toe, I don't know the guy's name, Aaron or something, he confirms, basically, that indeed there was a woman there, and under the table, it was his ex-wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, blah, 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 allegedly, don't know, but he said so.
And you hear her go, it's still on, meaning the stream, because he didn't stop his stream. And like I said earlier in the show, like, guys, I know, you know, they're like, was somebody else in that room? Like, I know there was. There always is.
Meanwhile, while Nick was tasting colors and smelling new sounds, his cheeks were red like old Saint Nick, with a bit of booger sugar on the tip of his dick. Nothing could bring my man down, except for the warrant out on his ass. And as every user knows, the police ramming down your door really harshes your buzz, and it sucks to get that door replaced.
Nick returned to the home with law enforcement. He demanded a copy of the warrant. When given a copy, he looked at it and threw it on the ground.
I honest to God picture Nick Rakita getting the warrant and having the same energy as a black woman that was on Pierce Morgan like a month ago.
It's too early in the morning, Nick! This is too early!
Within hours of the arrest, Nick Rakita was on everybody's lips and a fifth of Jack was on his. The Steel Toe Motoring Show dude found out his wife was in jail with Nick while on someone else's live stream.
Hey, I'm not trying to ambush you, but I'm getting tons of messages.
We're not reading messages. People
No,
are sending
you need to. You need to. This is big for the show. No, this is big for the show. April has been arrested today with the Ricardas.
I don't believe that.
Is that her?
I don't think so. No, that's not. No, there's no way. That's for sure been edited.
When Nick Rakita and his wife are in jail for possession, along with Aaron Imholt.
No, that's definitely been altered.
Will Aaron, can you tell?
Oh my God.
That stinks, Rance.
Yeah,
that stinks.
But I have to admit, it's pretty gangster to be going to jail with your wife and your side piece. This dude was getting two chicks at once doing rails, and I was supposed to be sympathetic to him. Oh, Nick isn't doing well. Looks like Nick was having a lot of fun to me up until the arrest. And let's be real here. All the people I knew that know him closer than I do, I've only done 2 streams with him, got no problem with him. Apparently, people have been trying to talk him down for a while. Frankly, Nick Rakita was living like a rock star. This was exclusive to dudes who knew how to rip a badass solo for generations. The rest of us can only dream of such action. This got so big, some dude who did ghost whispering on TikTok started weighing in. I don't know what the hell. He says Nick Rakita's possessed by demons.
This guy, because I guess he's an alcoholic. At one point, he put a necklace on, and I guess there's some theories out there that it was cursed and
could that do anything? And yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to say that's the complete catalyst of it, but it could have, him putting a necklace on that somebody sent him that is cursed, could have opened the door spiraling down that he's growing through. Just a lot of things. And I'm sure there's a lot of demonic connotations to it. It doesn't necessarily have to be demonic.
The memes afloat like the land of milk and honey. People were putting him in Lord of the Rings, painted a photo of this man as a drunken wizard. People were tweeting, okay, stop this Christian curses first. Oh, don't buy the medallions. Too late. Sales are up. Christian is probably happy as a pig in shit right now. The Steel Toe Morning Show started talking to anyone and everyone that would listen about Nick Rakita.
He goes, you have to understand, sometimes people have stress levels that are up here, and their minds can only handle this much stress. And then when you do the stimulant, it bumps you up like this, and then you can handle more stress. I'm like, Nick, you lunatic, lower your stress levels.
Some people say don't trust what the man has to say. Star Wars girls now fighting with him. It's a scene, I guess, you know. Make up your own mind on everything that the dude says. It looks like Nick is accused of some heavy drug charges and child endangerment. I'm not going to dig too deep in this because there's already been a billion people that have rebroadcast him on trial and all this other crap. And YouTubers fighting with each other on who's on Nick's side, who's against Nick. I don't really care. The moral of the story is, if you get a Sonichu medallion, don't put it on, especially if you're in social media.
All men can stand adversity. But if you want to test a man's character, give him power.
The 2020s, a terrible time in recent memory, because we all can't remember much past the 2-year mark, because we all have the attention span of goldfish now.
Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games. Don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
But all kidding aside, 2022 is hot, wet garbage.
Well, I think ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. You know, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything.
In spite of all that, the Elden meme lord has been crowned, Elon Musk. On the 21st of April, he secured enough funding to take over Twitter. On the same day, CNN Plus was canceled. Hundreds of millions of dollars were spent to only get 100K subscribers. Brilliant money management. And people sit here and bitch about Elon Musk buying Twitter. What about all the money they wasted on CNN Plus that they knew was going nowhere? The very next day, a Colorado man set himself on fire outside of the Supreme Court and died. Now you might be thinking, what does this have to do with anything? Well, nothing. I'm just letting you know that everything is crazy right now, just in case you forgot.
Gas is up, rent is up, food is up.
With the Musk buying Twitter, a million progressive voices cried out in terror, and then were suddenly silenced. Well, not really.
Well, it looks like Twitter's gone. They accepted the money, and Elon Stalin is taking over. So fuck you, Twitter, and goodbye forever, you insane Q-like forum. Or soon to be insane like Q-like forum. Peace out. Bye.
That's what I think of it. Elon Musk.
Stop it. They're all claiming that they'll leave Twitter. Yeah, sure, they'll leave Twitter. Just like you were gonna leave the country when Donald Trump got elected. I mean, Talcum X left for what, 24 hours at best? Now, don't get me wrong. Do I think Twitter will get better? In all honesty, I don't know. Maybe. I don't expect much. So, I can't be disappointed. I feel like Ivan Drago. If Twitter dies, he dies. It really all started with Musk coming to Twitter, and he was all like, I'll buy this bag of shit off you for $41 billion. And the Twitter board members that own little to no stock were like, no, you can't have Twitter because you're a bigot. So Elon was like, okay, I'll give you $46.5 billion for this bag of cat vomit you call a website. And the rest is history. Now, most people started bitching.
Oh, he spent all that money.
Well, he only spent $21 billion of his own money. The other $25.5 billion came from Morgan Stanley and other financial institutions. I also believe that Stanley had a decent amount of investment in Twitter already. So, there's that. Progressive Twitter had an absolute meltdown. Everyone else outside of the Twitter sphere didn't really give a single flip about this. Like, for the dude working at Amazon right now, listening to this, do you care? Hell no! In response to the new bigoted Twitter of Christmas future and past, Vice wrote an article about how to delete your Twitter account. Let me save you some time.
How to delete your Twitter account.
Go to the settings button, right? And as soon as you click that, you'll see right on the right-hand side of your browser on desktop, click deactivate your account.
He came in like a knight in shining armor and saved my life.
Cometh the hour, cometh the man.
How do you get an entire article out of that? It's 2 steps. Maybe people really do need a tutorial for everything in life, which would explain why TikTok is so popular. How to get over an ex. How to eat soup. And if you think I'm joking, these are actually tags. Let us now hear the Twitter brainlets cry out in unison with hate, venom, and vitriol.
I'd give anything to be the one that shoots Elon Musk in his looking head. Daily reminder that billionaires should not exist. Well, time to kill Elon Musk.
And of course, the person has a trans flag in their bio.
Some fellow comrades are having their villain origin story today and will either become hitmans and try to murder Elon Musk for buying our app, or worse, become rich and buy it back.
Really? That's the take? Killing a person's bad, but becoming rich enough to buy Twitter for a few $1 billion is even worse than being a murderer. Welcome to the Twilight Zone.
God, I want to kill Elon Musk. Musty ass bitch. Will someone please kill Elon Musk? It would be cool to murder Elon Musk by pouring molten gold on his gigantic, stupid rich boy head. All Games of Thrones and shit. That motherfucker needs to be killed, Elon Musk.
Isn't it sad that people talk about a form of torture that was actually quite popular in the medieval ages? It was China that did that, where like they would take a man and they pour molten silver in his ears, eye socket, and throat. But this person watched Game of Thrones, so what do you need history for, am I right?
I want to murder Elon Musk. Let's buy Twitter for $41 billion instead of doing any good with the money. Man crazy to think that he could do that while 14,000 people are going to be sleeping in their cars tonight in LA alone.
Well, what are you doing, J69 days clean? 69 days clean? That basically means you've already screwed up your life. You have no room to tell anyone else to do jack shit. You couldn't even live your life without becoming a junkie.
Because this is what we spend our time on. No need for anyone to do anything. Someone should kill Elon Musk, by the way. Have I mentioned that before? He's a retarded ass.
Yes, the person who is unironically a filthy weeb and an anime avatar. You have balls to call anyone else retarded.
I want to kill Elon Musk. Eat the rich!
You couldn't afford the calories.
Guess since free speech and all, I could say I want to murder Elon Musk. It's free speech, bro. I'm going to kill Elon Musk.
There's so many people that just have so much hatred in their miserable little hearts that is actually surprising. The only thing you're gonna do later is kill your brain cells, little mister.
I will kill Elon Musk.
No, you won't.
I absolutely hate this, but a chance to shoot Elon Musk would be tempting.
Oh my god, really?
The word's interchangeability echoes the masses of their spoke Zarathustra. They are also aware that they are numbing the chronic meaninglessness of their lives with hedonistic consumption. Greater men, such as Zarathustra himself, or those who take action and create, are secretly envied but publicly ridiculed. People end up conforming to the mediocrity of their neighbors, either because they fear the public shaming or are just outright lazy, which applies to most men. This exemplifies Nietzsche's idea of slave morality, which entails a mindset of obedience, patience, and humility. The result is postmodern society as we know it, which preaches weakness and pacifism as virtues and elevates victimhood to sainthood. The weak despise the strong and therefore start to attack their achievements with vitriolic slander. The masses eradicate individualism from within and turn Western civilization into an egalitarian and declining nightmare.
God, please, someone kill Elon Musk. I don't want to go back to Tumblr. Please, guys.
They need to go back to where they came. You know what? I have a hot take. Segregate Tumblr users now. Build that wall. Build that wall. If Trump came back in 2024 and he was like, we're going to build the wall to keep the Tumblr users away from the rest of functioning America, I would chant and wear red proudly.
Trump's America now, boy. It sure is.
I'm not joking. Tumblr really did ruin Twitter. It used to be cool.
It should be illegal to kill Elon Musk.
And they have a trans flag. Why are there so many people with trans flags so flippantly ready to talk about murdering someone? But if you misgender them, they act like you killed their entire family. How can you expect human decency when you have none of your own?
Can someone kill Elon Musk already? Oh, God. I'm going to murder Elon Musk with a knife. It's time for me to go to bed now. But before I do, I'm going to exercise my free speech and say, murder Elon Musk. Murder him now. Murder him in his face. Murder him to death. It will make the world a better place.
Well, Wimplist, whatever the hell your name is, Cinnabite, Elon Musk has pretty much been the spearhead of electric cars that will lead to greener emissions in the future. And I'm pretty sure it's just the beginning before we start getting hydrogen-powered vehicles that will also operate as like a hybrid with electric. A reality. What the f have you done, you little snack? Nothing. What will you do? Nothing. What will you contribute? Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing.
We have to kill Elon Musk.
Oh God, the K-pop stans are now in the mix. I hope Musk comes for them too. Daddy Musk, please, let me lead your Gestapo. I will hunt the K-pop stans like the dogs they are.
I would absolutely kill Elon Musk or any famous person just to etch my name into history. I don't care about throwing my life away if people are going to know who I am.
You little bitch! Get out of here, bitch! Get out! And people are trying to argue that Twitter is okay now. This is literally, what's the name of the dude who shot John Lennon? I don't even know his name. He's garbage. We've basically got an entire website full of Mark David Chapmans. But instead of Twitter keeping an eye on little freaks like this, they spent their time banning anyone who decided they didn't want to get a vaccine and was very vocal about it. That's where all the energy went. This is Mark David Chapman 2.0 waiting to happen, and nothing will be done. And then when this person does kill somebody, I hope they use my video in court. And then I'll say, death penalty! Who's going to kill Elon Musk? Okay, that's enough of that. There's literally, and I'm not joking, pages of this. I talked to Data Racer, and I was like, Data Racer, you gotta see this crazy stuff people are saying about Elon Musk.
When the class revolution is happening and I get to kill Elon Musk, I will kill Elon Musk. I'm expressing intention to cause physical harm to him, and you can hold me legally accountable for this statement.
That person is tweaked in the head.
Who's gonna kill Elon Musk? Hands up!
And then they put up a photo of someone holding a gun on Elon Musk while he's out in New York City. All of these kill Elon Musk tweets have something in common. They are the musings you'd expect from a petulant child, angry at their powerlessness. So they shout, "I'll kill you," as they tantrum off to their room. Oh, excuse me. I mean, they, their rooms, or these your room. The fact we have adults acting as children over something as meaningless as Twitter being bought out by someone they don't like or were instructed not to like is a damning sign of our future as a country. Remember, these people are allowed to vote and make decisions with all the emotional maturity of a 9-year-old. Or these are all bots that will soon be taken care of and won't be a problem under Lord Musk. One thing is for certain, when Musk does own Twitter, the tolerant left, quotation marks, will do hateful shit to try and force his hand on the site. And then the second that he is forced to take control or censor stupidity, they will start shouting, see, he doesn't believe in free speech. Knowing damn well Twitter banned people for so much less before Musk. Hell, I got banned for saying gas the weaves. I heard you could get banned for doing it, so I did it. And it was true, you could.
He's a monster.
On April 22nd,
He's
a
a monster.
DM between Elon Musk and Bill Gates was leaked. Bill Gates. 7:20 on Wednesday to be clear. Great. Just landed. Cool. Do you still have $500 million short position against Tesla? Sorry to say I haven't closed it out. I would like to discuss philanthropy possibilities. Sorry, but I can't take your philanthropy on climate change seriously when you have a massive short position against Tesla, the company doing the most to solve climate change. And then Elon Musk followed up by, in case you need to lose a boner fast, the pregnant emoji put next to Bill Gates.
Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the part of the program which is always my favorite because it means something.
This video is sponsored by Surfshark. Spending time on the internet has taught me one thing. Danger is around every corner. There are multiple entities looking to steal your information or track your
What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, DA. All right, check it out. This is my episode 1 and 2 review for The Acolyte. And before I begin, don't let anybody tell you that you are not a Star Wars fan because you're not rocking with the nonsense that they put out in this show, okay? Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You are a Star Wars fan if you love George Lucas, all right? Whatever Leslie Headland is doing, all right, that's like a completely separate thing, all right? You are a Star Wars fan. Don't let anybody tell you different, all right? And look, coming to Robert Meyer Burnett, all right? This is what Robert Meyer Burnett had to say about the situation. The Acolyte is a massive misunderstanding of what the original Star Wars was about. I wonder, does the younger generation actually even understand what the storytelling itself is supposed to be about? I don't think that, I honestly, I don't think the younger generation knows what Star Wars is. Okay, let me again play a quick clip of what George Lucas said Star Wars is.
It was designed to be a film like mythology of this is what we stand for. You're about to enter the real world. You're 12 years old. You're going to go on into the big world. You're moving away from your parents being the center focus. You're probably scared. You don't know what's going to happen. And here's a little idea of some of the things you should pay attention to. You know, friendships, honesty, and trust, and doing the right thing, living on the light side, avoiding the dark side.
A mythology, right? That's what Star Wars is, okay? Star Wars is a mythology. That's why it hits home, okay? It hits home because it's lessons that we take going forward into the world. As little 12-year-old boys and girls, we take these lessons and we march off into the world and we, try to live according to these values, all right? That's what old myths and legends used to do. They kind of spoke to us on a human level. And that's what Star Wars is, and that's exactly what this shit is not, all right? This trash that they just put out there, this is not Star Wars at all right? This is not Star Wars. This is what they call representation, all right? Echo Base spoke about this. We talked about this on the live show, all right? fat representation in Star Wars now. I am Fatawan, all right? Instead of Padawan, it's Fatawan, all right? It's about representation. It's about skin color. It's about diversity. It's about nonsense like how big and fat you are, all right? This dude is a huge guy, all right? But see, this is what it matters. This is what matters when it comes to Star Wars. You know, like you could be a big fat fuck. Like, oh, hey, man, I'm in there. I'm represented, okay? Look, you could be a big fat dude. You could be a skinny dude. It doesn't really matter, all right? That's not what Star Wars is about, all right? It was about the lessons that you learn from that, all right? You know, again, good versus evil, all right? Overcoming your limitations. You know, things like that that matter to Star Wars fans. You know, again, Leslie Headland and all of these clowns over there at Lucasfilm, they could give a shit about that, all right? It's all about, again, what? Representation, all right? We must represent women. We must represent lesbians. We must represent fat people. Like, what's the lesson here? What is it that we're supposed to take out of this? Okay? That it's okay to be fat? That it's okay to be lesbian? That's okay to be a skin color? Or okay to be a diverse person? We already knew that. Hey, Leslie, real quick, can you tell me a good story? Okay? Can you, like, represent George Lucas? While you're trying to represent all of this other shit, can you represent George Lucas? Can you represent Star Wars fans? Can you tell me what Star Wars is about? I don't really care about all of this other crap that you want to talk about, okay? None of that stuff matters to me. What matters to me is, can you do Star Wars? And if you can't do Star Wars, then step all the way the fuck off, okay? I don't need to hear any of your nonsense. I don't need to hear anything else, okay? Give me Star Wars or fuck off. That's what it is, okay? Like, seriously, that's all it is to it, okay? Give me Star Wars or fuck off. I don't really care about anything else that you gotta say, okay? I don't care about diversity. I don't care about representation. I don't care about none of that crap, all right? If you can't give me Star Wars, and look, Kathleen, Lucasfilm, this goes for you too. If you can't give me Star Wars, get lost, all right? I don't really care about anything else that you got to say. I don't care about this fat dude. I don't care about this Asian dude. I don't care about this white woman, okay? I don't care, all right? I'm a black guy. I don't care, okay? Give me Star Wars or get lost, all right? That's it. And that goes to all of Hollywood, okay? We want what we want, all right? Not what you want, what we want, all right? We're the fans that have built these franchises up over the last 40 to 50 years. You need to give us what we want. Otherwise, it's deuces, we outro, okay? So give us what we want or get lost, all right? That's what it is. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's jump into the Acolyte episodes 1 and 2. So the story starts out with this chick, May. You know, she's on the hunt looking for a Jedi. By the way, spoilers. This will not be a non-spoiler review, all right? This chick, May, is looking for this Jedi, Indara, which is played by Carrie-Anne Moss of Matrix fame, all right? And basically, they get into a brawl, all right? Because this chick, May, is looking to kill her. And they get into all of this fighting technique, all right, which they call, quote-unquote, force fu. And it's like, who cares, all right? Who cares about the Force fu? What's wrong with the Force? Nothing was wrong with the Force to begin with. So why are we trying to introduce some new fighting technique? All right? In place of actual storytelling and character development, here you go. We got Force fu, all right? Which is nonsense, which doesn't make any sense. Like, yo, if you got the Force, why don't you just subdue this chick? If you're like a Jedi master, why don't you just pin this chick to the floor and figure out what's going on? But no. That would go against Leslie Headland's agenda. So this chick, Indara, I guess her name is, she is literally brought in to just be a victim, all right? There's nothing to Carrie-Anne Moss's character. Nothing at all right? She is literally here just to be a victim, all right? You got brought in, right? You got sucked in. Like, oh my God, Carrie-Anne Moss is going to be in this thing. No, didn't matter, all right? You got brought in just so this chick could die in the first 5 minutes. Basically, that's what this is all about. Yep, there it is, all right? She gets suckered into saving this guy, all right, who's just standing there like an idiot. And then she ends up getting what? Oh, here's a knife to the chest. All right, there it is. I'm dead. Just a stupid, a dumb way to set up this story. Off rip, all right? Just a stupid way to set up a story. Then we quickly move on to what is her quote-unquote twin sister, OSHA, all right?
Yeah, my medicine's
OSHA
not
works on
cutting
like
it.
some kind of a rig out there
I
in space.
resorted to
Doesn't really matter. We
alcohol
don't care. They don't
yesterday and
spend
the
a
day
lot of
before.
time
I'm
here.
just in
But
bad
basically,
shape,
that's what she
so-
is. She's working on the rig in space, being a quote unquote mechanic. I guess that's a mechanic.
Yeah, so I wanted
So
to
to speak.
reach out,
So she's basically doing that as a job.
'cause I know
So
it's so
here's the
late, but
mechanic chick out there
that's
on
why.
the
This is
hull
why.
of the space, freighter, fixing shit. I mean, again, man, all of this stuff could have been interesting if I cared about the characters. I don't really care about these characters whatsoever.
Yeah.
We move quickly to Saul, who I don't know if he's the main character or one of the main characters, but they move quickly to him. He's a teacher. He's an old Jedi master, and he is the master of OSHA, which is the twin to May. All right. All right, are you guys keeping up? All right, you know what's going on here so far. A lot of plot happening before your very eyes, but you don't really care, right? You don't really care yet because you don't know any of these characters, so you really don't give a damn. Yeah, and then we get our first look at Leslie Headland's wife. Okay, that very important, everybody. Very important that we see Leslie Headland's wife, because again, this is all about representation, not about Star Wars, all right? It's about representation. Yeah, then we get to the scene with the guy that don't know shit about Star Wars. He thinks that Anakin blew up the Death Star, all right? He comes in and he's basically saying, we had a death. Something's crazy going on. I got to reach for my lightsaber. I'm a little nervous about you, all right? But he's, this person is supposed to be his friend, but he's got to take her in, all right? He's got to bring her in because, you know what? We think you killed a Jedi. Yeah, and then we get to the point where the Jedi, the one that they're worried has killed another Jedi, is sitting in a cell all by herself, all right? And nobody's sitting there guarding her or nothing. No. You go ahead and sit in this jail cell. We'll stand out. I don't even know where anybody else is, all right? We'll just have her sit here by her damn lonesome talking to crooks and criminals about a prison escape. Like, if you were worried that this Jedi is somehow a threat, and hey, man, we got to bring her in for questioning, we got to talk to her, like, why would you not lock this chick up, all right? Hey, we need the strongest cell that we got, all right? We need the most powerful cell because this chick is a Jedi, and she just killed a Jedi. At least that's what we think. So we got to lock this chick up and make sure that she can't get out and start wreaking havoc. Oh, no. Let's just go ahead and put her by herself, all right, in a cell so she can talk to other criminals about a possible prison break. Do you see the level of incompetent writing that's going on here? All right. That's Leslie Headland for you. Hey, Leslie, you're a piece of shit writer. Just letting you know, okay? Just in case you were wondering. And then, of course, the bad guys escape because that's what bad guys do, all right? They get out of the jail, but I guess Amanda Stenberg, all right, she's too lame to go out there and ride with them. All right, she's a good guy, all right? She's a good guy. All right, so she's going to hang back. Yeah, I thought this was interesting too, all right? She breaks into this, accompanying prison cell to, let this other guy out of prison, all right? This guy, that's all knocked out and everything. So she breaks into the prison cell to let him out, all right? But he don't, give a damn about her. Yeah, as soon as she saves him, he springs to life. It's like, oh, shit, I'm free. Yeah, bye. All right. And then he just leaves her in the dust. All right. Jumps into the escape pod. All right. He's outro. So basically, our protagonist is an idiot. That's how I take it. All right. Protagonist is an idiot. She don't know how to maneuver things. Too good for her own good, I guess. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know what Leslie Headland is going for. Again, she's a shitty writer. And yeah, we was tripping off of this on Echo-based network, man. All of these guys, she's strapping herself in, making sure she's secure and all of that kind of crap. And then they just crash on a planet. That's the softest crash landing I've ever seen in my life, all right? Just kind of skid along the surface, all right? Like a little stone skipping along the pond. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And then this guy, Saul, he's trying to figure out the quote-unquote mystery. There is no mystery, all right? No mystery whatsoever. This guy knows exactly what's going on like the audience does, all right? We're not caught off guard at all right? This chick is a horrible actress. She doesn't emote at all right? I give this dude credit, all right, Saul, all right? I give him credit because guess what? This guy don't speak English, all right? English is not his first language. This is his first English speaking role. And he's like lapping these other people, all right? He's so much better than everybody else in this show. Like, why is the guy that doesn't speak English so much better than the rest of you guys? All right? You people should be embarrassed, man. Lucasfilm should be absolutely embarrassed at what's happening here. But they're not, all right? Because, fat representation. Like that's what matters, all right? We got a woman in it. You know, we got some minorities in it. Hey, we did it, all right? That's what Star Wars should be about, all right? Utterly ridiculous. And then, of course, somehow this chick, May, survives everything, all right? She survives the whole crash landing. Anybody else crashing to a planet from orbit would be dead. You know, but of course, you know, in Disney Star Wars, oh yeah, everything's good, all right? It's like getting run through with a lightsaber, all right? You'll be fine. Don't even worry about it. You'll be fine. Oh yeah. I thought this was interesting too, right? Like she has this little, I guess, dream sequence, you know, with her twin, you know, popping up in the background, and then they go through this whole thing, you know, with her twin sister. And it's like, oh, you know, is it real? Is she seeing this? Is it live? Is it Memorex? We don't know, all right? It's stupid. It's really dumb. There's nothing here, okay? Oh my God, I'm remembering all of my past trauma. That's basically what this is all about. You know, instead of actually fleshing that out in a way that, you know, emotionally resonates with the audience, you know, hey, yeah, let's just show some kind of a weird flashback. You know, it's kind of hard to get through this scene. Let me see. Yeah, she starts chasing, right? She's chasing this shadowy figure, all right? Which we all know is her sister, all right? Oh, yeah, there it is, sister. We already knew that, all right? And then they start showing her as like a little girl. It's like, oh, I'm a younger version of their, and then, you know, they kind of go back and forth with these younger versions of her. Listen, Leslie Headland, can you figure out how to tell a goddamn Star Wars story? All right? You're bad at this. You're really bad at this. All right? I don't care about any of these characters. This is the main problem. I need to care about the characters in order to become invested in whatever the story is that you're putting out there on the screen. I don't care about these characters. I don't care if they live or die. All right? I just don't. Maybe you do because you're a lesbian and you got lesbian characters in here, so maybe you care about it. But for the rest of humanity, the other 95% of us, hey, can you give me something that I can connect to? And when you don't give me something I can connect to, you know, all you're doing is just putting images on a screen. And this isn't, again, what George Lucas was about. George Lucas was about creating characters and creating storylines that would resonate across color lines, across gender, across ages. It didn't matter, all right? That's the beauty of Star Wars. That's why Star Wars works, all right? Because it connects with everybody. It connects us all together, all right? It's like the Force, all right? It surrounds us, it binds us, it brings the galaxy together, all right? And we all rocked with Star Wars, all right? If you're a Star Wars fan, all right? We all rocked with it because, again, it brought us all together, all right? All of your nonsense is just divisive, all right? If you're not a lesbian, if you're not a woman, like, how do I connect with these characters? I don't, all right? That's the main problem that these idiots have in Hollywood, not just Star Wars, in Hollywood right now, is they don't know how to connect to their audience because they're too busy writing, like, you know, independent little films for themselves instead of writing something that means something to all of us. You know, and again, that's the problem that we got right here with this lame ass character. Nobody gives a shit about this character right now, all right? After 2 episodes, nobody cares, all right? Whether it's May, or whether it's Osha, nobody cares. Yeah, like apparently we're supposed to care about all the trauma that happened in their past, but we don't, all right? We don't care about the trauma that this chick had to go through, all right? Hey, you're with me, I'm with you. No, I'm not with anybody. I'm not with any of y'all. I can't connect. All right, I cannot connect. All right, according to Leslie Headland, these women or these 2 characters are black. So I, as a black guy, should be able to connect to the people on the screen, but I don't. All right, and it has nothing to do with them being black. It has nothing to do with them being women. It has nothing to do with them being lesbian. All right, what it has to do with is that I don't see anything in these characters that makes me feel anything. I don't give a shit about these characters. That's where Star Wars is going wrong, all right? They keep shoving stuff on the screen that nobody cares about, and it doesn't rock with people on their human level, all right? On the human level that we all can understand, all right? Again, that's what George Lucas was doing. That's not what these people are doing. Yeah, so again, we get just boring characters, like first 2 episodes, all right? First 2 episodes, just boring characters delivering dialogue. That's really what it is, all right? I didn't mind this guy, all right? It seems like he's a try-hard. I was saying this on the Echo Base review. He's kind of a try-hard. He's trying really hard to be somebody, but he's really not, all right? Just a dude, all right? Just a dude with weird hair, all right? He's trying hard. And I didn't mind his acting, okay? He's not a great actor, but I didn't mind his acting, all right? I didn't mind his acting. I didn't mind Lee Jung acting. Okay, fine, okay? Again, Lee Jung, he don't speak a lick of English, all right? So, he actually, elevated himself, in my opinion, all right? But most of these guys, man, again, these guys are just weak. Yeah, I thought this was interesting, too. Like, they kind of corner her. And she's like, oh, you gotta believe me. I didn't do it. I didn't kill anybody, right? It's like, okay, why don't you just say that right off rip, bro? Like, just say, yeah, I believe you didn't kill anybody. All right, come on with me. But, they have to set up this, like, possible, oh, she might jump or whatever. It's stupid, all right? Again, Leslie Headland is a hack, I can't say what she did on her other, shows and series and everything like that. But in my opinion, Leslie Headland is a hack, all right? She is an absolute hack, no questions at all about it. When it comes to Star Wars, she's a hack. Yeah, and then we kind of end the episode 1, with this scene, Amanda Stenberg, standing out there, I guess looking cool. I don't know what this is. Is she on Octo? I think she's on Octo, all right? And it says an acolyte kills without a weapon, So apparently her job is to kill people without a weapon. You need to kill somebody without a weapon, even though she's used a weapon, to kill Carrie Ann Moss, all right? She's already used a weapon to kill her. So it's like, well, you didn't really get the job done with that one, all right? And then for some dumbass reason, oh, I need to ignite a lightsaber. Why? Oh, because we need to know that this is a Sith Lord. Leslie Headland, ladies and gentlemen. Leslie Headland. This is hot garbage, all right? I just scratch my head at how did this happen? How did this happen to this once great franchise? I don't think anybody knows, all right? Anyway, let's get on to episode 2. Yeah, so episode 2 starts with more dumb shit, all right? I guess this little girl kind of tricks a droid and then she gains access. So then, May goes strolling right on in, to a Jedi's house, or whatever, wherever he lives at. I'm just going to walk right on into this thing, I don't have to, that's the only security that she has. All right. Just, be able to walk right in. It's kind of funny. So then, she kind of reveals herself to him, even though, I guess this guy is, sound asleep, all right? I say, I need you to attack me with all your strength. That's what her MO is. You need to attack me so I can attack you, blah, 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 all right? The only white guy in this thing so far, at least as far as I'm concerned, the only white guy so far in this entire show is just some dude sitting there asleep, Sitting there asleep, he got a little scar on his head. That's basically where it's at. Again, the representation is so strong, all right? It's so obvious. It's so on the nose. Instead of being something that's like, hey, we wanted to put some representation in here, but we didn't want to go over the top with it and just make it so obvious, all right? But no, this is obvious representation. That's what this show is about, all right? Again, we already had Fatawan, all right? I mean, they're checking every box, man. They are checking every single box when it comes to this thing. So I guess somehow she can't break through his little shield, like he's got a shield up. So she's been trying, she couldn't do it, right? I can't break through his shield, so I'm just going to give up. Basically, that's how this whole scene ends. I guess this is supposed to be some sort of a moment, where Amanda Stenberg's character and Daphne King's character can kind of talk and relate to one another and build maybe some sort of a friendship, that's what this was about, all right? But again, I don't get anything from these characters. These characters are like shells, all right? Empty shells They're not really fully fleshed out. And again, you could do that in a couple of episodes. There's plenty of time to focus on these characters to make them actual characters. All right. But again, Leslie Headland isn't interested in any of that. She's only interested in caricatures that suit her agenda. Yeah, like this guy right here is funny, all right? He says, hey, you know what? This chick who we're transporting as a prisoner has already escaped before. Like, why are we letting her run amongst the ship? Like, hey, you're just free to go. Do whatever it is you want to do, all right? Crack jokes with my Padawan, whatever. Like, wait a minute, hey, man, like, we're bringing this chick in for questioning. There's been a murder of a Jedi.
Hey.
Like, hey, like this guy says, they don't know, but she says she's escaped once before.
Man,
To me, again, just to me, maybe I'm crazy.
I'm streaming right now. I'm streaming this dude watch on YouTube. They're talking about how they're ruining Star Wars.
Stop kicking me.
They're talking about how they're ruining Star Wars.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
It's been happening for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're just fine.
Yeah, so I'm about to pop some medicine and conk out for the better part of the day before I have to leave. I wanna like sleep until like.
You should definitely get some rest.
I'm probably sleep until 4 and then just leave. So where are we at? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I know you wanted to do as triangles and seven. I have I've been working on some like graphics
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So hold on, I'm trying to figure it out faster to send it than downloading.
Okay.
But check this out. Do you like any of this artwork? Because you know how you say like triangles and these like shapes of fingers, right? I was just putting some stuff together
Yeah.
that I found, and was checking out like the different kinds of like whiskey smoke kind of thing, if
Oh.
that makes sense. Because like the one in the middle is one actual like one graphic altogether, and then the other two on the sides, I just put them. I made them like that.
Yeah. Let me see, cause
So
it's full
it's
screen
in your
now.
messenger. You can see us in the corner, but I made sure not to get us looking stupid.
Damn.
Okay. Tell me if you like anything, and if you don't like anything, just say I don't like it. Okay, that's how this works.
I like the beaker on the right.
Okay.
And it's smoke. But
okay.
I also like the beaker on the left.
A little bit more feminine.
I like the beaker on the left smoke too.
Okay, that's fine. You can leave them all. That's the thing.
I like both of the smokes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So the one in the center, right, is a single graphic.
Okay.
That one is like a sketch.
Okay.
But the ones on the left and the right, there are more, there are more graphics like that. So it'll be easier for me to like find, because it started with those two, and then that's how I got the third one in the middle, right? So I added the smoke myself.
Cool.
To the beaker.
Cool.
And I like the way that those two, it's more clean. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then I'll just take out the one in the center. I'm like literally doing it right now.
Yeah.
And let me see. In fact,
Yeah.
I can find like the center one that has that looks more like a bong. But like I literally found one that was like a fucking bong.
That one looks like one, yeah. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I like the front two the most. Like the beaker and the bong.
Sorry?
The beaker and the bong, I like them.
Yeah. There's this literally has like a fucking bumper bong that was like pretty tier one, and I was like, this is literally alchemy.
Good shit. Good shit. Yeah, keep exploring with stuff like that. I think we got some animals.
No, that's good.
Yeah, we're on the right path for sure.
You guys talk about the animals and stuff like that, you know, because I was thinking, because like one of them I have, I think is like, I think I have like a hawk, right?
I don't remember. I don't know.
About like turtle, I was thinking turtle, a hawk, and like the wolf. You know, like I think you said you like the wolf.
I do like the wolf. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Griffin. Okay, everybody picked 3. This is what we did. Everybody picked 3, and we chose 1 mythical animal and 2 real animals.
Okay, do you have that? Will you send that to me, and I'll figure out how I can do this?
Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, I've got that also from our historian. AKA one of the members who actually enjoys documenting this shit like in text, because I don't. I document it musically and shit like that, and you know, everybody has their different things they're good at.
Yeah, oh for sure.
So here's that text. Griffin, monkey, owl, dragon, cat, turtle, phoenix, salamander, raccoon. I'm.
I like that you have the salamander in there. I'm not gonna lie.
I like that. But I also like the wolf and the hawk too. I just love animals.
Okay, because I have an owl, I have a turtle, and I really think that the wolf would be really nice.
You try that owl, wolf, turtle. Wait. Was it owl? No. Yeah, owl, wolf, turtle.
Yeah.
Well, if you already have that, if you already have that and it's easy to throw together, why not? But why not give it a try?
I'm gonna tell you right now, because that all of those 3 animals, right? You have land, sky, and then the turtle goes between land and fucking sea, man. So you have like all of your elements incorporated in there in one.
I thought turtles were land creatures and tortoises went to the sea. Do you have a tortoise or?
Have you ever had turtles?
No, I don't know.
Have you ever had a turtle?
No, because I'm confused about the difference between a turtle and a tortoise.
It's just the size.
Yeah.
There's swapping turtles and fucking. It's just semantics and phonetics.
Okay. Well, see, I don't know.
They look the fucking same. The tortoise is predominantly a land creature, right? But those motherfuckers can go in the fucking ocean, in the water.
Yo, I hope there's no turtles around here and you say this.
Send me some fucking Ninja Turtles, bro. Send your fucking Ninja Turtles.
Okay, so...
Yeah, tortoise, yes, is a desert creature, kind of. My brother has a tortoise.
Oh, desert.
Like 150-year-old fucking... Well, my brother lives in Arizona.
Damn.
Yeah. And I know his friends all have, like, fucking turtles. It's crazy. They're fucking pharmacy people.
Turtle people.
Fucking, yeah, nerd.
It's all good.
Mama, stop, please. Go potty.
At least they'll never run away.
Oh my god, seriously. So, but like.
You just put them in the backyard and let them chill. You can still see them. A day later.
Absolutely true. So like, yeah, the
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are symbols of life and death, and they are an ancient like Aztec and Mayan in that world, right? They are divine creatures because the underworld is they go between like the overworld and the underworld.
Do you think turtles hotbox their farts like when they're sleeping?
Oh my god. Probably not.
I just thought about that.
You're fucking wild.
Well, cause you know how they go to sleep and everything, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they sleep in their cells.
Yeah, so if they bring their butt inside of there too, and they fart while their head's in there, aren't they hotboxing their own farts?
I don't think so.
Oh, damn.
Do you hotbox yourself when you fart in your sleep?
No, I try not to. I've done it before, and I get up out of bed, and I go and I get the fucking spray. I get the fucking spray.
That is fucking. I would say that the turtle would get the fucking spray. Or he's just so fucking smart that he wouldn't do it in the first place.
Oh, you're so funny. You say the turtle will get the fucking spray too. Duh. Sorry. I should have known better.
No. Come on, man.
All right, but it's like, yo, until we get this situation ironed out, we need to lock this little chick down, all right?
Okay, so yeah, I think, especially with the theme, right? I like that you guys all picked these different creatures.
Yeah.
And I like the mythical creatures as well. We can also keep that on the back burner for like later.
Right. It was just ideas. We weren't. Again, I want to remind you that what we're bringing you, we don't have our hearts fully set on what we're bringing you. We just want to bring you ideas so you have things to work with. It's not like.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
No, you guys did freaking fantastic. That's what I want to, tell you. Like, it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I studied this shit, man. Commercial art. You know me.
Yeah.
You know me. You know me.
I'm literally. Here we go. Thank you for giving me back in recommendation. Sorry, I'm yelling at my thing because There we go.
So, are you aware of what's happening with the Star Wars films, though?
You know what? We think you killed a Jedi.
No,
Yeah, and then we get to.
You're focused.
Yeah, I'm writing somebody back really quick right now.
It's okay. Just hey, you just can't use my real name, okay? You can't because we're live we're live broadcasting and no, yeah. Please don't use my name. That's all.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that the noise you heard in the background was my broadcast.
Oh, okay, that's dope.
Yeah. So I can help you with that stuff when you're ready to branch out.
Yeah.
You've already got the graphic and that stuff that most streamers, I would say most streamers seek some help with that. A lot of them do. So you can do that for yourself and it'll save you time and money. You know, when you get there. Yeah.
She breaks into this like accompanying prison cell to like let this other guy out of prison. All right, this guy, that's all knocked out and everything. So she breaks into the prison cell to let him out. All right. But he don't, like give a damn about her. Yeah, like as soon as she saves him, like he springs to life. It's like, oh shit, I'm free. Yeah, bye. All right. And then he just leaves her in the dust. All right. Jumps into the escape pod. All right. He's outro. So basically, our protagonist is an idiot. That's how I take it. All right. Protagonist is an idiot. She don't know how to maneuver things. Too good for her own good, I guess. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know what Leslie Headland is going for. Again, she's a shitty writer. And yeah, we was tripping off of this on Echo-based network, man. Like, all of these guys, she's like strapping herself in, making sure she's secure and all of that kind of crap. Like, and then they just crash on a planet. Like, that's the softest crash landing I've ever seen in my life, all right? Just kind of skidding along the surface, all right? Like a little stone skipping along the pond. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And then this guy, Saul, he's trying to figure out the quote-unquote mystery. There is no mystery, all right? No mystery whatsoever. This guy knows exactly what's going on like the audience does, all right? We're not caught off guard at all right? This chick is a horrible actress. She doesn't emote at all right? I give this dude credit, all right, Saul, all right? I give him credit because guess what? This guy don't speak English, all right? English is not his first language. This is his first English speaking role. And he's like lapping these other people, all right? He's so much better than everybody else in this show. Like, why is the guy that doesn't speak English so much better than the rest of you guys, all right? You people should be embarrassed, man. Lucasfilm should be absolutely embarrassed at what's happening here. But they're not, all right? Because, fat representation. That's what matters, all right? We got a woman in it. We got some minorities in it. Hey, we did it, all right? That's what Star Wars should be about, all right? Utterly ridiculous. And then, of course, somehow this chick, May, survives everything, all right? She survives the whole crash landing. Anybody else crashing to a planet from orbit would be dead. But of course, in Disney Star Wars, oh yeah, everything's good, all right? It's like getting run through with a lightsaber, all right? You'll be fine. Don't even worry about it. You'll be fine. Oh yeah. I thought this was interesting too, right? Like she has this little, I guess, dream sequence, with her twin, popping up in the background, and then they go through this whole thing, with their twin sister. And it's like, is it real? Is she seeing this? Is it live? Is it Memorex? We don't know, all right? It's stupid. It's really dumb. There's nothing here, okay? Oh my God, I'm remembering all of my past trauma. That's basically what this is all about. Instead of actually fleshing that out in a way that, emotionally resonates with the audience, hey, yeah, let's just show some kind of a weird flashback. It's kind of hard to get through this scene. Let me see. Yeah, she starts chasing, right? She's chasing this shadowy figure. All right, which we all know is her sister, all right? Oh, yeah, there it is, sister. We already knew that, all right? And then they start showing her as like a little girl. It's like, oh, I'm a younger version of their, and then, they kind of go back and forth with these younger versions of her. Listen, Leslie Headland, can you figure out how to tell a goddamn Star Wars story, all right? You're bad at this. You're really bad at this, all right? I don't care about any of these characters. This is the main problem. I need to care about the characters in order to become invested in whatever the story is that you're putting out there on the screen. I don't care about these characters. I don't care if they live or die. All right? I just don't. Maybe you do because you're a lesbian and you got lesbian characters in here, so maybe you care about it. But for the rest of humanity, the other 95% of us, hey, can you give me something that I can connect to? And when you don't give me something I can connect to, all you're doing is just putting images on a screen. And this isn't, again, what George Lucas was about. George Lucas was about creating characters and creating storylines that would resonate across color lines, across gender, across ages. It didn't matter, all right? That's the beauty of Star Wars. That's why Star Wars works, all right? Because it connects with everybody. It connects us all together, all right? It's like the Force, all right? It surrounds us, it binds us, it brings the galaxy together, all right? And we all rocked with Star Wars, all right? If you're a Star Wars fan, all right? We all rocked with it because, again, it brought us all together, all right? All of your nonsense is just divisive. All right. If you're not a lesbian, if you're not a woman, like, how do I connect with these characters? I don't. All right. That's the main problem that these idiots have in Hollywood, not just Star Wars, in Hollywood right now, is they don't know how to connect to their audience because they're too busy writing, like, you know, independent little films for themselves instead of writing something that means something to all of us. You know, and again, that's the problem that we got right here with this lame ass character. Nobody gives a shit about this character right now. All right. After 2 episodes, nobody cares. All right. Whether it's Ray or May, or whether it's Osha, nobody cares. Yeah, like apparently we're supposed to care about all the trauma that happened in their past, but we don't. All right, we don't.
I know that there's like drama and stuff, but then in my brain, like there's always drama with Star Wars ever since Lucasfilm sold it to fucking
Disney.
So
Facts.
I kind of just like checked out maybe like a year or two ago from all of that, and it's like no big deal, you know what I mean? But like I do have a very big spot in my heart for Star Wars, as you know.
Yeah, and that's so.
I'm like now getting back into it, so.
Well, basically, don't bother. Is what they're all trying to say.
Really?
They're making it so bad.
Really?
Yeah, basically they took like, so they took ESG funding, which required them to like change the inner workings of the company, which resulted in them hiring diversity hires for economic quota, and now so now there's a bunch of people who are not equipped for writing stories and making movies, writing stories and making movies is basically what it boils down to.
Oh fuck.
And rather than trying to show respect to the Star Wars lore, they just have an agenda. They're just using somebody else's intellectual property to tell their own stories. They're not telling Star Wars stories. They're telling the story. They're telling the story of a lesbian going to find herself. They're telling the story of Mindy Kaling. Like Mindy Kaling, for example. She went and she remade Velma. She made Velma, right? An adult cartoon show, but it has nothing to do with solving mysteries. It has everything to do with Mindy Kaling making herself a self-insert to be sexual with high schoolers, apparently.
Yeah, there's a whole Hollywood agenda thing going on. And
that's the shit I'm talking about.
That shit is... Well, that's partially why I don't fucking hang out in Hollywood anymore.
Oh, right! You were out there! Like, you were motherfucking out there!
Yeah.
So what's up with this blood? What's up with the blood ritual shit?
Sorry?
Blood rituals?
Yeah, that shit is real.
Oh my god.
That shit is fucking real.
So are they using babies' foreskins to rub into their Yes?
Yeah, that shit is real.
So they mash it up and turn it into like a cream, and this circulates around town? And beautiful women are rubbing it on their faces to stay young?
Honey, there's a reason that they have these fucking fairy tales come from truth. Okay?
What the fuck?
Fiction is based on fact.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Of course.
Remember, I don't know if you know anything about Disney, but Tangled, right? The fucking lady steals a baby with magic hair and sings a song and keeps her locked up in a fucking tower. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's kind of a fucking crazy story, but like, that shit happened.
Yo, and you know what else they're saying? Hold on, I'm not gonna use your real name either. You're Indrina. You know what else they're saying, Indrina? they're saying that. Oh fuck! Let me find her name real quick. I forgot her name. Okay, Leslie Headland. Leslie. Okay, so Leslie Headland is making this Star Wars show. One of the new Star Wars shows, and when you go to the Star Wars page of the video, all the top comments are saying how it's no surprise that she got this job considering she was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant.
Yep, there you go.
And they're saying it's really interesting how everyone wants to ask her about Star Wars, but no one has the balls to ask her about Weinstein, considering all she would know about him.
They cover up a lot of, it's not taboo, it's scandalous kinds of like propaganda kind of things that people want to say, but it's not. It's based on actual fact, and it's hiding in plain sight. That's the biggest thing. They want to hide in plain sight.
You mean what, like the rituals?
Yeah. So there is a Saturday Night Live, right? From, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or something like that, where within the last 15 years, okay, Will Ferrell comes on stage and does this, like, whole fucking improv, like, scene, but it's actually, like, a ritual. And that's one of the things. You'll see there's, oh my god, there's a lady. She's an artist, and there's a whole part of, like, she's friends with like Lady Gaga and all this stuff. And there's this thing, I don't know if this is gonna flag me or anything, but it's called spirit cooking, where they literally like eat the blood of people and like do fucking carcass things. It's like really weird.
You said what
But,
they do? You said they do things with carcasses?
Like, well, I don't know if they're dead bodies, but there's like fucking people, and they like have them on there. You know, like how you can go and get like sushi and eat it off a woman's body.
Yeah.
Right? And that's like a thing. Okay, well they do stuff like that, but with like eating people's blood and drinking like things like that. Like Chrissy Teigen, okay? We all know her.
Okay.
She has like one of these like interviews in the car, and it was like they're talking about food because she has like a whole food cooking thing, right? Well, she goes, what if somebody, the question that she says, she's like talking to this guy in the backseat. And she's like, well, what if someone told you, like, you can eat a little bit of this and, like, just try it, and it was, like, human flesh? It's, like, a hypothetical. And she was like, yeah, but what if you just had, like, a teeny little bit and all your dreams come true or some stupid shit like that, right? Well, that's based on fact. Like, she's literally bringing that out and, like, asking this very disgusting, serious question, right, about cannibalism. And that's where all of this kind of comes from.
Wait, what? Wait. Oh my god, wait. So what was her question to him was what?
If somebody said, like, eat something, right? And I can't remember if she said it, like, and all your dreams will come true, and then you could do, like, something or another. But it's like she was hypothetically speaking about, like, if you eat a little bit of, like, human flesh or meat or, like, you know what I mean? Like fucking Hannibal Lecter, dude.
Yeah.
The most tender part is the cheek, right? Like, fucking bringing up that conversation in this car.
Yeah.
And that's hiding in plain sight.
Okay, so you're saying that she was alluding to something that it wasn't just a random question. She was alluding to something that was relevant to her.
It's very real. Yes.
So do you think she was insinuating?
Says, like, I sold my soul.
Right, like insinuating that
like
someone made that proposition to her, and that she said yes.
Correct.
Oh my god.
Yes, that is a very real thing, and it's.
So can I? So let me ask you this, because I'm so curious. I'm so curious. I've actually been I've been so just amazed at the way things seem, how Hollywood seems to be its own little world, and the way that the cultures come to be and all that. Um, I want to ask this, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but to what extent do are Jewish people involved in these sorts of practices? Because it's well documented that Hollywood is built up from the ground by Eastern American Jews. So is this something that, so does that have to do with, like, does it have anything, like, what do the Jews think of of this? You know what I mean? Like, the Jewish people that, like, is it their idea, or is it somebody else coming up into their space and beginning to introduce these types of things? I mean, how do the Jews play into it is what I'm really curious about.
Okay, I will riddle you this. So what is it culturally, right, that Jewish people do when boys are young?
They circumcise them.
Have a male chest.
They circumcise them.
Now, and then what happens with this kid?
They apparently they give it to Sandra Bullock.
Sorry to laugh. But yeah.
They sell it to Sandra Bullock. And then she brags about it on the Ellen show.
Exactly. And here's the thing, like, Ellen DeGeneres is she's one of those people that deals with the hiding in plain sight, right? They like, look at the Oprah Winfrey show, and there's the Ellen show, right? These are people who have been put into specific places, right? If you look at the history of Oprah, right, her career started, and she was like a very lesser known person who said she had to fight for her space in Hollywood, right? And it became like a very cultural thing because she's an African American woman, right?
Okay.
The evolution of her career is interviewing very important people, right? And if you look at it as a social aspect, right? So she and pop culture, right? Pop culture and society, right? That's what I mean to say as far as like these two women particularly. Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah Winfrey, right? They are two women who spend a lot of time bringing to light important topics that the everyday person wants to know about, right? For lack of any other, for lack of a more specific way of saying, this is becoming, right, a general overview of those two shows, right? So when we talk about like Sandra Bullock and like, how do you get your skin to look so beautiful and this and that? Well, it's an Eastern practice that infuses blah 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 microneedling, and you insert something in your face and you're kind of bloody for a while. But what Ellen does is she now brings this general idea into a very specific, how do I say this? She gets the details out, right?
Yes.
Like Oprah Winfrey will interview somebody on a general topic and then break it down and get the specific details out, right? You are now engaging with somebody whose job is to condition you to feel safe in their presence. Now, by hiding in plain sight, it becomes like, oh, this is a everyday television program. We interview like little kids who are really good at music to movie stars who are all over the silver screen, right?
Yeah. So they're designed to infiltrate the home of the American public, basically, right?
Yes. That's exactly how they do it.
And you know what? That is so true, because listen, that's so true that not only, well, let me tell you this. It worked, okay? And I'll tell you why it worked.
Yeah.
Because when I was a child, there was a segment on the Oprah Winfrey Show that my mother and grandmother in particular took so seriously that they sat me down to watch this Oprah Winfrey segment about how to break out of the trunk of a car if you're kidnapped.
Yep.
And so my mom and grandma, for example, trusted Oprah that much that the information on the show is designed to save my life. You know what I mean?
Well, why would Oprah Winfrey want to teach you how to break out of the fucking trunk of a car?
I don't know.
Is someone gonna kidnap Oprah Winfrey? Does she need that? Why do people need to know that information? Shouldn't you be able to go down to your local police station and find that out? Now we have like those little pulley things in the back of your trunk, and it's just like an eject button.
Yeah, but this was the 90s. It was the 90s.
Yes, because in the 90s, that's when, and I'm gonna say it like point blank. There's no other way to put this, but that's when the conditioning began for our generation.
Damn.
Which is the transition between the 80s, right? In the 80s, there's a commercial, right? I've been hearing this so much recently with all the nostalgia coming around. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are, right?
Sure.
Now, in the 90s, when you have, like, the evolution of technology, right? We go from having, like, Atari into, like, Nintendo 64. Computers are coming up. You and I remember the time when there were records, tape decks, CDs, right?
Yeah.
And we lived through the technology boom. So we grew up in the beginnings of the digital age becoming a brand new era.
Mm-hmm.
We like watched that happen. We are the there's a generation. I think it was Generation X was right before us, right? And in the time that we were coming up in like TV, the internet, all these things, where now predators are being unleashed on a global scale.
Lady Gaga's doing a blood ritual. I'm watching. I put some of this weird Hollywood stuff on in the background while we're talking about it on the stream. You got to see it, by the way. I'll send you a link. But I'm listening to you. But Lady Gaga is literally performing a blood ritual on stage.
Yeah.
It's fake blood, obviously. Well, maybe it isn't.
I think so. It could be fake blood. It could be someone else's blood. It could be something that you have no idea.
It looks pretty fucking detached. Like, she looks deranged here.
Yes. You will absolutely see that. And this is where it blends Hollywood and the music industry. Now, the music industry is very well known for indoctrinating, and like the music is basically casting spells. There's a whole like another side of that I can totally get into with you, but the fact of the matter is these people did not come into power because they are really good at what they do. Yeah, totally. You can get a set of pipes on you that came like designed with your DNA, but in order to like make it, right, to go hit it big and do the things that like all these people are doing, you have to be willing to trade something for your fame and glory.
Something of value to them, right? Something of value to them, and what is that going to be? So it might be something intangible.
Mm-hmm.
So selling something intangible, how do they claim that from you? They use a ritual to take something from you, intangible?
Very good. That is exactly how it is.
So you make an agreement, and they know how to do the ritual, so they take something from you.
Very, very, very much so.
Damn.
That is exactly it. That's how all this works. It is a fucking trade.
Do you have a tablet handy? Like you're on your phone, right? Do you have a tablet handy?
My tablet's over here.
Here, use your tablet to click that link so you can see the broadcast.
Okay, hold on a second.
It's kind of like stories. It's kind of like what you hear about vampires, right? Like you have to invite them inside of your home.
Yes, that is exactly it. That is exactly it. You have to invite them into your body. Like how they say, like, oh yeah, there's all sorts of like goofy memes and shit like that. Hold on a second, let me connect to my Wi-Fi. About like, oh, vampires saying this, that, and the other to try and trick you into like saying like, do you want to come in? Or like some shit like that. But that's real. Like even where I live right now, right? It's at there's like ancient lore that like the city across the sea from where I am, like one of the islands, like that's the home of vampires and shit like that.
What the fuck? Transylvania shit?
Not even Hotel Transylvania, but like real life, like bloodsuckers, dude. Like people that drink your blood and like want to steal your soul.
Cannibals?
That shit is
it's
real.
It's not just cannibalism, but also like witchcraft. Like there's ritualism involved in the cannibalism. So how okay.
Like it's not just I want to sink my fangs into you.
How did this make its way to California?
Oh, do you know what Hollywood is?
Yeah.
Like no, not the place.
What?
The actual thing, Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a type of a tree.
Yes.
A holly tree. A holly tree. Yeah, but I don't know about holly trees.
No, it's used in spellcasting.
Oh. Oh, so you're saying
Hollywood comes from.
Oh, so you're saying the Jews brought it over from Europe?
I'm not saying it's the Jews specifically, but I am saying that when Hollywood was created and people were pioneering, the history of film, right, begins in New York City. Now, in New York City, the reason why it's more specific to like theater, right, is because of the laws. Now, specific laws involving filmmaking are not the same in New York City. So there was a lot of like pushback. There was a lot of like, there's a lot of like, it's like, oh, you can't film here, you can't do this, you can't do that. So there was a lot of hand tying going on because cinema began in Europe. And then when it was brought over with photography and this and that, and people wanted to start, incorporating that into the American society, the laws of the land were very constricting. So they were like, well, fuck this, let's go somewhere where we can do whatever the fuck we want. And they ended up on the other side of the United States. Long story short, okay? In Hollywood, they began to make their own rules.
Correct. I'm aware of that. Right.
So that's how it became that when, let's say, how do I say this? Like vetting new people, you have to go through like an initiation process. That's why it's called auditioning. That's why it's called like trying out, casting. Casting. What is casting? Casting is like creating spell work.
Oh my god.
In itself.
Oh my god, you're literally about to make my brain explode. Casting.
I literally will make your brain explode.
Hollywood casting.
Yes. That's exactly what it is.
Hollywood casting means two things. It means two different things.
It's not just. It does.
It's hiding in plain sight.
It's literally hiding in plain sight.
So.
And that's why.
How long did you live?
Like,
how long did you live? Before you, what was your proximity to this in California?
I worked for a major Hollywood director, and I was working in the executive offices. Okay, and I do freelance work, right? So whenever people would meet me, they'd be like, "How come we never see you?" I'm like, "Because I'm the best kept secret." Okay, and that's because like I work for myself.
And you said, you said you did some you ran some really important errands for some really important people too.
Correct.
So that means you had some direct proximity to some people who were potentially involved in what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But like when you went home at night, for example, like you were safe, right? Or did you feel safe?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, okay, okay.
For sure.
That's good.
Sure. I have never been directly involved with.
Right.
So like I've starred in a feature film before, right? And it's just like indie work, right?
Yeah. That's cool.
But
hold on. I need more. Hold that thought. I need to grab some. I'm getting cotton mouth. I'll be right back. Hold that thought, please.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. While you do that, I'm gonna turn my Wi-Fi on real quick so I can I can do some shit. Okay, it's on. Great.
All right, I'm back. I've got. Look. Oh my God. Hey. If there's anything you're missing over there, I gotta tell you. Never mind. You probably got better stuff there. Now that I think of it. Well, it's this. I've just tried this for the first time. Simply Peach.
Oh no, that stuff is great.
It's the Simply brand, but it's peach, and it tastes so good. I've never had the peach version. Oh my God.
Oh my God, I'm from Georgia, man. I love a good peach.
Oh my God, it's so good. Oh, I forgot you were a little Georgia girl.
I am from the South, honey.
Savannah. I haven't been to Savannah in forever.
I am from Atlanta.
You from Atlanta?
My best friend. Yeah, one of my best friends lives in Savannah.
Savannah's pretty.
Oh, it's beautiful. Went to her wedding there.
Okay, so let's get back to. You were saying. You started in the indie film, and you were working. Right. You were the best kept secret. That's where we were. So what did that look like? What does being the best kept secret for The Office look like?
It means that I had access to, like, I could drive from the office up to the gate to this man's like neighborhood, and they'd call and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, I know you," and I would literally drive up to his house. The gate would let me in, and I've walked into his home. I've met his housekeeper. I know his kids. You know, not like I know them personally, but like we've seen each other, and I finally met this guy. I mean, like, I've seen him in passing. Like, I directly worked for his first assistant, second assistant, third assistant. And, like, the people that make sure this man, like, functions properly, I'm one of them.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Functions properly,
like, do, like, other jobs.
Like so that he can do his work, like for his work.
Like I drive his movies to his house. I picked out his wife's birthday, Christmas, Valentine's presents. I have, like, you know, just because like that was like the work that I've done, and if they ever needed it, like they'd call me and be like, Shane, can you send me? I mean, like Diane, can you send me like the rest of the stuff? And I'd be like, yeah, sure, I can send you a copy. So like, I know where he gains the inspiration for like some of these really cool things, and I've been in his office, and yeah, like really cool stuff. Let's just put it that way. Things that you would have to like get vetted to do. I don't know. I help that man function.
And this is the guy that you mentioned last week, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You and I were talking, and I told you like my last big job.
Yeah. Damn,
Yeah,
that's insane. I
so,
mean,
like,
with a name like that, like who else could you possibly seek work from after that?
Nobody. You just go on to be a stay-at-home mom.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's literally what I did. I applied for a position in his office, and it was like a brand new, personally created like position, and it was like me and one of the other guys in the office, and I was way more qualified. But one of the girls that I worked with really thought that I was like I wanted her job. I guess because I was better than her or whatever. But like I'm not in it to like fucking Jew people out of their space. You know what I mean? You've known me for 20 years, right? Like I don't compete. I do my own thing. You know what I mean? And I'm the last person that's gonna like shaft somebody for their position. So
Do you think
this new position was yeah.
So in regards to the proximity to the rituals and the I don't know what all of the rumors, right? Everything that's rumored about spell casting, Hollywood, rituals, cannibalism, Illuminati, whatever. Would you say that I don't know that there was an influence that was she under that influence? Did you see anything?
Okay, so I will absolutely tell you that the girl who thought that I wanted her position was definitely doing some fucking weird shit. Okay, I got confirmation on that. Right?
How? From her mouth, or how? How?
From other metaphysical beings.
What?
People, I should say.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second, because if you busting out the demon talk, I need to grab my hoodie.
Oh no! Definitely not demon talk.
No busting out demon talk. Well, I'm grabbing my hoodie anyway because I like it.
You should. This is definitely some like the hoodie talk.
Yo, I've been doing.
I hope my Wi-Fi is.
Speaking of being friends, 20 years, I still buy shit that I really like in doubles. Remember, I used to buy Converse in doubles.
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, I went and I bought this hoodie the other day, like last week. I bought this hoodie and I liked it so much that I wore it days in a row, and I didn't want to wash it, but it needed a wash. So I took a shower, I went back to the store, and I bought another one. But in a different color. Because it's so cozy. Where's my hoodie?
Nice. Oh, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Hold a second. I'm trying to pull up our message and like open this up, and I cannot get the link on my tablet.
Yo, when you see this hoodie,
unfortunately,
oh my god.
You know me.
Look
I
at
love
this.
a good hoodie.
Look at this hoodie. It's like, it's just like a nice extra layer of skin. You know, it's not too warm.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Not too cool. Anyway, alright, I'm hoodied up. Let's go for the demon talk.
Okay, so I was
I'm shielded from the evil now.
I got a tip on like some like darkness following me, right? So I got help, you know what I mean? And when this person was talking to me, they were telling me about the people around me that I can't trust. Well, found out that two of the people that I thought were cool were definitely not. They were, and you know me, I'm a very genuine person. I'm very bubbly, happy, chill, super cool, right? But like, there are people who take that kind of like energy as like Regina George energy from Mean Girls.
I've never seen that. I don't get the reference because I've never seen that movie.
Oh my god, okay, Regina George is like the queen bitch.
Oh,
She'll be like,
okay.
oh my god, I love your bracelet. And then as soon as you walk away, she's like, that is the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, like they think you're being fake nice with them.
Yes.
Okay.
And you've known me for 20 years. That's the problem with me and other women. Girls.
They're just
Most
jealous.
Girls think that yeah.
If they can't respond,
I never use that word.
if they can't respond well to that, then they're just jealous, haters, whatever.
Yeah. So
because I don't think another girl who's nice like you, who's genuinely nice like you are, would take any offense to your demeanor. Personally,
Correct.
It doesn't make any sense to.
Yeah.
It's just two nice girls being nice, you know. But if one of them's nice and one of them's fake nice, you're gonna find out pretty quick.
Well, that's what I found out pretty quick. So when I got this, like, I worked my ass off to get this job, right? I've been working for this guy for years, on and off, like, in the background, working for him, doing my own freelance stuff, shooting commercials for, like, fucking AOL and shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, making music videos, and going to school full-time, fucking working in marketing, doing all kinds of shit, valet parking cars for fun. And like, I finally made my fucking mark, and I got contracted for like a 5-month job, right, working in this office. And I was so fucking good at what I do, you know what I mean? Part of it's OCD, part of it's just being really good at being fucking really good. You know what I mean? And I really just fucking blew my job out of the water. I was working with 2 other girls, and they're like taking their time, watching the fucking Ellen show, doing it, and like the quality of the work, the output was like not what I was like, dude, we're working for a fucking Hollywood person, and you're like
slacking.
You think that it's okay to like you're acting like this is like cheer camp, like no bitch, this like we're sending stuff to like fucking Superman, okay? You know what I mean? Like, this is going to people that are like A-list celebrities. Get your head out of your ass and stop watching TV and start figuring out how to fold shit properly.
So they were the type of, you know, employees.
Those are 2 people that I was working with. So that was my team. Okay? So like, I was head of the project that I was working on, and one of the people that I worked with was like the girl's mom, and then the other girl's like sister-in-law, and I'm like, okay. And these bitches have been doing stuff for them for a while, but they're like slackers, and I'm like, I don't have time for fucking slackers. Like, you have me as the captain of this production team, the small production team that's making over like 150 fucking things to go to very specific people whose addresses that I should not know as like a civilian. You know what I mean? But the reason that I'm doing this is because like I'm fucking trustworthy. I've been vetted to like.
And they make their own rules in Hollywood. They make their own rules in Hollywood. So so corporate doesn't apply. There's very little corporate.
Well, and here's the thing.
Regulation in those studios,
offices.
Right?
Well, I didn't work for like a major studio. I didn't work for like MGM or Paramount or anything like that. I worked for a very specific director who is very well known.
Right.
That that his particular production company is specifically for movies.
Right, right. So you worked for him, but obviously he works with them, basically, right?
No, he's a separate entity.
Yeah, he's separate, but I mean,
They all run in the same like crowd.
Yeah, like he's gonna when he goes to rent the film equipment, he's gonna go and get it from the same people he always does, right?
No, he owns everything. That's the thing.
He owns his own equipment too?
Yeah, so his company is XYZ Entertainment. Like he has essentially developed more production equipment than like some of the major Hollywood studios. So like he does his own research and goes about his business. Like, okay,
Banjar Masin?
No, I'm not going to tell you what his name is because I don't want to get in trouble.
No, I wasn't asking that. No, because I typed XYZ Entertainment Banjar Masin. Came up.
Oh my god, I was using that as like a okay, so let's put it this way. So
it's not XYZ literally. Okay,
I like
never
that you
mind.
did that though, but I will say, look, so just how like MGM, Paramount, Warner Brothers, those are like the big guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
His company has like outdone them. Like even Disney has like he's like big like them. Let's put it that way.
Uh-huh.
But on his own. Okay. So you know who I worked for, right?
The person that you mentioned last week, yeah, but I don't want to say anything.
Right. So as far as like major Hollywood studios, he's not a major Hollywood studio. He's a major player. Okay.
Right.
In the studio system.
But you're saying he doesn't participate as much in those types of things. What you're saying is that he wouldn't be the type of person involved with that.
He's not the same as them.
Got that.
Right.
I got that.
So that's why I'm like, I was close to it, and I know about it because of the people that I was surrounded by. And I didn't realize what it was until like one day we were talking about like photographs and pictures and things like that. And then one of the girls I worked with, right, she was like, oh, it looks like ritualistic. I'm going to use that phrase. Okay? This picture looks really ritualistic and really like this, that, and the other. And was like saying it so loudly walking down the hall. And I'm like, what the actual F? You know what I mean?
Oh.
And yeah, it totally like blew my fucking mind that this lady's like screaming this walking down the fucking hall. Okay? And I'm sitting here at my desk and I'm like, is this real life what I'm hearing right now? And it got me thinking, right? Like, why the fuck would she say something like that? You know? And from then on, I kind of started looking at things a lot different. Okay? One of the other things that you'll notice is a lot of people talk about being vegan.
About what?
Okay? Being vegan.
Being vegan.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another aspect of it.
Why? How? If they're gonna drink blood, though.
Okay, so there's a movie, right? It's called like something green. Well, let me look it up and see. I was thinking of something else.
So wait, veganism.
But
veganism relates to occultism.
Hiding in plain sight. Yes.
How?
there is. Hold on a second. There's this movie about it. It's like hold on a second. It's gonna. I hope this thing fucking pops up. It is. There's a.
How does veganism?
Okay, there's literally a movie about it, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. And the whole thing is, it's like, oh, we eat this like stuff, and it's so great. And then they find out what the actual shit that they're eating is a fucking human flesh.
Oh,
and it's supposed to be like vegetarian. Yes.
What?
Yes, there's a fucking movie about it, dude. I'm like trying to remember the name of it. It's like Reliant Green or something like that. How the fuck do I
So
find
whoever,
it?
okay, but
and
those
it's
people
like,
are mentally ill because flesh is flesh. You're not a vegetarian or a
Yes.
vegan if you're eating flesh.
yeah, it's literally like, it's like how people are like, oh my god, I love tofu, but like, what is fucking tofu? It's soybeans. Okay, great, but like, yeah, dude, Soylent Green. There it is.
Okay.
Soylent Green. That's why I was like, what the fuck is it called? It's like tofu. How people are like, oh my god, I love tofu. No. Oh my god. Can you look that up really quick, because I'm trying to pull it up on my phone right now, because my fucking internet is being wonky on my tablet, because I live in the middle of
hang on.
the Pacific Ocean.
Soylent
Green. Green. That's the movie you want to look up.
And these people, cannibals. Okay,
Yeah.
All right, 1973. So would this be one of the films where they're hiding the truth in plain sight? Basically, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just like, okay, the movie where the guy, he wears his sunglasses and it shows like truth. Do you remember that movie?
No.
Oh god, dude, I'm such a fucking nerd now. I hear it in in all the shit that I'm saying. I never thought that you would be interested in stuff like this, and I'm so glad that you
you're
asked
supposed to
me
know about film.
like,
You're a
talk
film
to you
person.
about it.
So
Huh?
I'm not as big of a film buff. That's all.
So I majored in film studies. That's what my degree is in.
I'm the guy, I'm the guy that likes to fall asleep watching the Predator trilogy,
Oh my god, no, it's okay. I'm fucking Star Wars nerd and shit like that. So, and like I said, I fell off the last couple of years after Disney was, got the rights to Lucasfilm. So,
oh my god.
Yeah, Soylent
what's
Green.
her name? What's her name? The lady, I forget her name, but the lady who's in charge of Lucasfilm right now is getting a lot of flack. Like South Park just hit her. They said put a chick in it, make her gay, make it more lame.
No, dude, look, I love South Park. Trey Parker, those guys are fucking geniuses.
Oh yeah, they would be fun to work for.
Well, and here's the thing: you cannot like dock people for comedy. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, comedies aren't funny anymore these days.
Comedies are dark.
And you know what? Entertainment-wise, people would rather watch YouTubers react to the shitty stuff that's being released than spend their own money to watch it. I find that so funny.
It is. It's hilarious. So there's Soylent Green, and it's the one, and okay, so he puts the sunglasses on and he sees like the signs and it says okay. I don't know, I can't remember the name of this film right now off the top of my head. film so well.
You're slipping. You're the film buff. You're supposed to know.
I know. I'm trying to, and I'm like, my internet's being fucking weird. They lived. That's what it is.
They lived.
There we go. I got you. They lived. 1988. Seeing the truth scene.
So did you ever get invited to like a weird Hollywood dungeon party?
Okay. I have been invited to a few different places. But I will tell you, when I was working as a leasing agent, I had a client and we had dinner together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he told me point blank, I was like 24, 25, right? He's like, if you ever go to a Hollywood party and they ask you to sign an NDA, do not do it. He's like, because that's where they're going to have their way with you. And whatever you see and do there, you literally just signed away your rights to be able to defend yourself.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
So there's people in Hollywood that throw parties that have their guests sign NDAs?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Especially, okay, so do you know about the whole P. Diddy thing, right?
Yeah,
That's
I've been following that. And it's funny you mentioned that because a lot of people seem to have their hands tied and say out loud, I cannot speak on the matter, basically.
Because they are legally bound by a document
that they signed at one of his parties at least.
Correct.
What the hell?
Well, that's the thing. When they say, oh, I got signed with so-and-so, oh, I got signed with so-and-so, that's what it is.
There's
you
an
sign
NDA
away
in there.
your rights. Those are the contracts that they talk about.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how it works. Justin Bieber, there's a song that's running around the internet. I lost my soul. I signed my soul or something. I lost myself at a P. Diddy party. Some fucking shit like that. There's literally, I've been seeing it all over Instagram. People are like, oh my god, Justin Bieber was trying to tell us all this time. You know, all I wanted was a red Ferrari, and I lost myself at a P. Diddy party. Some shit like that. That's like, the lyrics are like that.
Damn.
Yeah. That shit is real.
So
that
Justin
is so
Bieber
real,
is
and
deep.
I didn't know until that guy.
So
I
the
didn't
Biebs
like.
is
I
deep
didn't.
after
I didn't
all, huh?
come face to face with it until then. Sorry, what were you saying?
I said the Biebs is deep after all, huh?
Yeah, he was telling people, like, you know, like, I saw all these girls and they couldn't walk the same afterwards, and like, it's all about Sodom and Gomorrah. It's very biblical when it comes around to it, and so now we come full circle to like the whole Jewish thing that we were talking about in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So is some
now,
of it
what
maybe
do they
based
say
in
that
faith?
all the Jewish people control? Money, this and that, right? Banks,
yeah, but I don't know what Sodom and Gomorrah is. I don't know what that is.
Sorry?
I don't know what Sodom and
Oh,
Gomorrah
man.
is. What?
Okay, I'm super Catholic. I'm super Catholic. So I will tell you, Sodom and Gomorrah is like where all of like the debauchery and like a lot of the let's just put it in layman's terms. That's where people were like having sex and like doing all kinds of like naughty things together.
Okay.
So
that's where sodomy comes from?
Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah.
So, okay, so you said what? You said the girls. Okay, so the girls couldn't walk the same because they signed NDAs and got sodomized at these parties.
Yes.
Damn.
There's like a picture that I saw the other day of like Kim Kardashian saying like, oh yeah, they like used me, and like the picture that I saw of her is like her standing there with like no shirt on, like holding her tits, and like all these guys are like looking at her, and like I think she was like at a P. Diddy party too. Like Kim Kardashian is literally one of the original like she's like a Barbie doll, okay? Like people can go and buy a Barbie and play with them and like take her all over the place. Like she made a lot of money by being like, she's like a high-end escort, basically.
Damn.
Yeah. So you may and may not be able to find like photos of her with really rich men as their date. Like they could buy her to be their date for like an event.
Okay.
They're like, oh, who's your date? Oh, I brought Kim Kardashian. What? You brought Kim Kardashian? Blah, 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 blah. Like that's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So like she's been to these parties and stuff like that. She ran with Paris Hilton.
Damn.
That's how she.
Are you saying Paris Hilton did that too?
Like, yes.
Is that how she bought her hotels?
No, Paris Hilton is. Okay, they would say that Paris Hilton is a handler. So she would influence people into specific circles, right? So you've seen pictures of Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton, all these other like Hollywood people that all got involved with one another,
okay.
Right? They would go to like nightclubs and private parties and like, you know, yeah, they did drugs and this and that, but what is it behind all of that, right? There's more to the story than just going and fucking partying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, do you know what MK Ultra is?
I've heard of it, but I don't know exactly what it is. Isn't it like a conspiracy theory?
Yes, it's like programming.
Okay, what is it?
So like this goes back to like the 90s, right? Where we watched like commercials on like McDonald's and then it would make us want to go and get like a fucking Happy Meal, right?
Sure, yeah.
That's like the simplest form of MK Ultra.
I thought that's just subliminal messaging or like suggestive advertising.
Yes. Now think of that on a more specific, grander scale using Hollywood people.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware. I watched a documentary that illustrated, you know, that famous American movies and famous American icons have also been, you know, very incognito ways Jewish stories. Stories about a Jewish person prevailing or about being the underdog being the first generation Eastern European, now American Jew that the United States just won't seem to accept. This is the story that I was told in the documentary, and that these Jews were the pioneers of Hollywood, that and that everywhere in the writing there was an aspect of a Jewish tale being told, but a specific Jewish tale, that of the immigrants, right? The immigrants who made Hollywood, telling their own story within the Hollywood movies.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what the documentary, it really focused on the build up of Hollywood, not necessarily where it is or what happened before. Okay, so but that documentary has piqued so much of my curiosity. That's what so how does it all then relate? How does it all then relate?
Okay, so that will bring you to the origin of film. Film is originally made as propaganda.
Correct. And yes. And the original Hollywood filmmakers sold out art and artists and creatives in order to make propaganda films for the American government.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it all started in like Eastern, European, and Russian, right? That's where film really got its start. Is by propaganda.
Damn.
It was a way to how do I say, not indoctrinate, not condition, but to
influence.
Influence, yeah, literally influence the masses, to normalize and soften negative behaviors, making them into positive, like, messages. Basically, like saying, like, yes, this is corn, but if this is corn and it'll get stuck in your teeth, it's not going to get stuck in your teeth. It's just hanging out there for a little while until you pick it out.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so eat corn.
Yeah, so eat corn. Which actually brings me to a point that I almost brought up a while ago, when we were talking about, like, Hollywood using, like, handling, right? One of the things that I had read about, studied about a little bit, was, like, the Got Milk campaign. Do you remember that when we were kids?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, think of all the people that were used in those advertisements, right? You had everybody under the sun, from music artists to Britney Spears and, like,
Michael Jordan.
You know what I mean? And it's so funny
Yeah.
that you said that, because I was thinking Michael Jordan when I said music artist. But yeah, it's and then shortly after they're like, don't drink milk, it's fucking bad for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the Got Milk campaign was propaganda to sell more milk. It wasn't really really truthfully healthy.
Exactly, because they were mass producing fucking animals.
Damn. So they were like, damn, we gotta figure out how to sell this shit. Make it sound good as fuck.
Well, and then when we were in middle school, like, I'll never forget, my mom was like, there's hormones and everything. They're fucking with all the people and doing all this stuff. And I was like, Mom, what the fuck? And I didn't realize it until I was older, right? And working in this, like, arena. And that's literally what it is. It's a fucking arena, right? That, and going to school for film and realizing, like, even in my documentary class, right? Because you have to take documentary because it's a form of filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
There was one about seed banks and how, like, the natural ways that we used to harvest food have been bastardized by, big companies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's all a money-making scheme. So in our day and age now, we're dealing with big pharma, as they say. And did you know that at one point in time, there's like 44 different species of asparagus, and now there's only like 2?
Damn.
Yeah. Why? Because fucking that's what they want.
Dude, I dipped the back end of my asparagus in some sauce the other day and ate it, and the shit was still gross.
Yeah, I think right now they only have like white asparagus and like the traditional green one, but there was like so many different like varieties, and it's so weird because like that very specific thing, asparagus. Like, I don't fucking like asparagus. You know what I mean? But it always stuck with me because that was something that I never really liked. And I'm like, damn, fuck, if there were like 44 different species of asparagus, maybe one of these other 44 I would like. But it's just the same way that, like, corn is, there's like 100 different species of corn. You know?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, dude, there's so many different species. That's why when you see, like, traditional yellow corn, and if you, think about Thanksgiving time, right? How they have the cornucopia, and you'll see, like, all the different, like, red, purple, and like different shades of corn, right? That shit is real.
That shit's
Yeah.
real?
That shit is real. Why do you think there are purple carrots, yellow carrots, white carrots?
Because it was all colored and painted by 5-year-olds?
Only in November. But yeah, so there's so much that has gone into like propaganda, not just from like food, not just from, I don't know who the fuck this is. Sorry, someone's messaging my business account. There is so many different varieties of food that it has all been like brought under propaganda to say like the most healthy is orange corn, the most popular is orange carrots, yellow corn, and like green asparagus. It's all becoming a normalized way of seeing things. So bringing this back to what we were talking about and like conspiracies and film and like the way that people are being influenced to see things, right? It's propaganda.
Yeah.
Everything is propaganda. And that's why they say don't believe everything you hear. Don't listen to everything people tell you. Because without doing your own research, without delving deeper into stuff, you're not going to be told the truth.
And you know what I didn't even ever consider before now, because you're saying in addition to what you're saying that so much is propaganda nowadays. How can you trust the public school system to teach your children the right things anymore? At least in America. I don't know how schooling is over there.
You literally cannot. We have private schools here, but our choice was to raise the kids in homeschool, right? So we are fully aware of what they are digesting.
Right.
Because the last place that we lived before we moved was California. Now, where we lived in California was close to a military base. And
California
it's very
being
Republican where we were.
But I thought California has been historically Democratic.
Yes. Now, along with that, a lot of the Democrats in California are in like San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, which makes it a Democratic state. Now, once you get into the finer areas, right, like if you go right outside of LA and you hit Lancaster, that's more like countryside Republican area. You go towards Palm Springs, right? Palm Springs is Democratic, but if you go up north towards like Joshua Tree into that area, right, you're gonna find, you'll find all the hippies and stuff, but you'll find the people that actually grow their own food and live off the land. Those are the people that toe the line between Democratic and Republican. Okay. And when you think about the traditional Americans, right, the right to bear arms, and you see like Arizona as a Republican state, right? Those are the people that live where I lived, right?
Okay.
We lived in an area that was very, very close to Arizona, right? Like I could drive to Arizona in 4 hours.
Got you.
Right, and that's why during all of this upheaval in the last like 2 years, a lot of the Democrats became more vocal, and the Republicans were like, "Fuck this, we're gonna go and be in a safer area," because I guess the extreme Democrats, were coming out and showing their colors.
Right.
That's why you have all of this, like we were talking about Star Wars, right? Lesbians.
Oh my God! Lesbians, gays, killing, like disrespecting Luke.
The whole thing. All of these people are coming out and they're saying, okay, now it's our time to shine. In the 70s and 60s, there were a lot of, that was like the Great Awakening time for like a different sexual revolution, right? It was the homosexual revolution. And
No, I
that's
did
where
not
you'll
know
find. Sorry?
I did not know that. There was a homosexual revolution in the 60s?
Well, think about free love. The summer of 69? Come on. Where do you think all of that comes from?
Oh my
because
God.
the 1950s was all very closeted.
What?
Think about the nuclear family.
What? Wait
and
a
the
second.
wars that were going on.
Wait a second. That was the summer of 69? Think about free love? Oh my God.
I'm telling you, you have to go back decade by decade.
Hippie revolution was homosexual revolution?
Look, people are doing psychedelics, they're smoking this, doing that, whatever. Music became a huge thing, right? If you look at the 1950s and the 40s and the 30s, right, and the way social evolution took place, it's not just about fashion.
Yeah.
Fashion was one thing, right? But just like we all know, fashion is a form of self-expression.
Yeah.
And so, going from like the 1950s and everyone being straight-laced and uptight, and going from being like the nuclear family, right? Husband, wife, family, white picket fence, buying the house, getting a car, doing that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
To get away from that, that's where the 60s comes in, right? That's where a lot of change happened. And like the kids who grew up in the 1950s had their rebellious streak in the 60s, right? And they created the kids of the 70s, right? So you have to look at it as a generational thing, decade by decade, how it becomes more and more unhinged. And then even so they say history repeats itself, trends repeat themselves, right? It goes from being straight-laced to free, straight-laced to free, straight-laced to free. In the 90s, when we were growing up, right, we were in a straight-laced kind of era, right, where, you know, no one was really gay, but, like, it was becoming a, like, it was coming out again. It was a new coming out, okay? So, like, in the 80s and the 70s, so the 70s was, like, a really big pushing point. There is Harvey Milk. Let me look this out. Milk. It's a film that you'll see. Milk film. Okay. I believe his name is Harvey Milk. Yeah, Harvey Milk, Sean Penn. In 1972, Harvey Milk and his then-lover Scott Smith leave New York for San Francisco, with Milk determined to accomplish something meaningful in his life. Setting in the Castro district, he opens a camera shop and helps transform the area into a mecca for gay and lesbians. In 1977, he becomes the nation's first openly gay man elected to a notable public office when he wins a seat on the Board of Supervisors. The following year, Dan White kills Milk in cold blood. Okay?
Okay, who's Dan White?
So, he's played by Josh Brolin.
But he's just like a random person?
No, he's like a police officer, I think.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's or like a lawyer or something like that. But that's like the thing. Okay, so when we talk about like how there are different sexual revolutions that have gone that America has gone through. So this is one of them, right?
A sexual revolution.
And yeah, it's literally a sexual revolution because of human sexuality, right? This is when San Francisco becomes a mecca for gay and lesbians. Like, I watched this film, and it's great. It came out in 2008, and it's very informative about what was going on in the 1970s.
Okay, so gay people find a haven in San Francisco in the 60s and 70s?
Yes.
And how does this affect the film industry?
So,
or how is the gay community, or how are the communities impacted? Both
so they
the
had to fight for their voice,
community,
okay,
as well as the newcomers. How is everyone impacted?
Okay, so when you start getting people into public offices, okay, now it becomes like normalizing. It's just like when we talk about slavery and segregation. This is a different form of segregation, heterosexual versus homosexual.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of parallels.
But wait a second.
And it's
but wait
all
a second.
about
but
the
wait.
context.
But wait. Was there ever like a law that said that you couldn't be in office, or if you couldn't be in office if you were homosexual? Because I wasn't aware.
I cannot confirm or deny that because
I didn't know.
I am not well versed in legal.
Okay, so but anyway, it hadn't happened before, regardless, and then it did
Correct.
happen, and that changed the community.
Correct.
Okay.
So here's the thing: people have always migrated out to California because it was like the promised land. You know what I mean? California has always been a place where people went to be free.
To go do the American dream.
I know that. Right, to live out the American dream. I will attest to that because you know me, I left Florida and I moved to LA to go chase my dreams and do all that shit. Okay? I can attest to that. And going out there, this is where I found all of the information that I'm now sharing with you. Okay?
Which is awesome, yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like I said, I'm a font of information. I'm a lifelong scholar. But when you start looking at patterns, right, that's what it is. Everything, it's history repeating itself. Okay? And when it comes to the sexual revolution, and there are different kinds of sexual revolutions. There's like one where you start showing your ankles, right? That's in fashion. There's a sexual revolution. We used to cover our entire bodies to not be seen as sexual objects, right? Now girls walk around in fucking mesh shirts with pasties.
It's crazy,
right? Right, yeah. So, and that's a different form of sexual revolution, just like the Free the Tatas movement, like burning of the bras, right? These are different kinds of sexual revolutions.
Right.
Now here, with what we're specifically talking about is homosexuality overpowering a very well-loved storyline, a very loved lore, a very loved fandom, and now it is becoming bastardized.
Damn.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly what Hollywood's doing. So Hollywood capitalized on a new sexual revolution. Okay? So in the 90s, like I said, like going back to that, right?
And so they're just so you're saying Hollywood's doing it for the money, obviously.
Yes. It's all about money. Look at how huge and large and influential the homosexual community has become now. And I'm not saying that in a degrading way.
Right.
Two of my best friends are women.
But you're saying they want to make sure that they get the gay dollars.
Correct.
And that's why.
And it's not that they are catering to a new audience.
Yeah. And
they
so
are
they
catering
don't care.
to.
So that and I'm not saying I personally I don't care if they want to cater to new audiences, but does it mean that they have to offend and disrespect the old audiences in order to do so? I don't think so. I don't think that's necessary, but that's what they've been doing with a lot of the franchises and stuff like that. So I don't have anything against gay people or Disney, for example, because they're pretty much in control of 90% of the shit happening out here. Like going and trying to get some gay dollars. Okay, power to them. This is America. Go and try to earn as much as you want, but do you really have to wreck something in order to get those new that new money? That's what a lot of fans are really frustrated by. So why do you think that they're hell bent on pissing off the old fans? You think they just only want gay fans now, and LGBT like Q plus and all of this progressive stuff?
What it is with the progressive stuff that you see now, right? The lore before, right? Star Wars was predominantly just for fucking nerds.
Yeah.
For lack of any other way to put it. And now it became about
boss bitches.
Now it became about hold on one second. I remember I was like writing someone earlier. I'm following up with that right now.
Oh, okay.
I've been on with you for a long time. So just give me a second. Let me send something to someone.
You're fine.
Okay, so predominantly, right, the sci-fi people, the nerds, all of like, our community, right, was just there. Then it became more of like a family kind of thing when the episode 1, 2, and 3 came out, right? And then when it was like all girl power, when The Force Awakens went into like the Rise of Skywalker or whatever. I can't remember what it was right now because my brain is trying to catch up. But like that, the episodes, 7, 8, and 9 came out with Rey, right?
Yeah, and the community hated her.
Exactly. But then now she's like a paragon for like female empowerment, right? Because that was what was going on at the time. That was after Lucasfilm sold out to Disney.
Yeah.
Those were the first ones.
So they did it to pander to a female empowerment.
A new audience.
To a new audience. To
a new audience.
To get the new audience to buy into Star Wars.
Correct. Because the only girls that watched Star Wars until then were like the girls whose dads were like fucking nerds, or their moms were like super nerdy, or like they
usually
had
they had brothers is a very common one, because isn't that how you saw it? Your brother put you onto it, right?
No, my dad.
Oh, your dad. Okay, perfect. Yeah, exactly.
My dad worked in the entertainment industry. My dad's from Hollywood.
Okay, there. So of course. That's why. So it runs in the family then. For you to be involved in the film.
Thing.
That's awesome. I didn't even know
that.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, dude, my dad was an accountant at like fucking MGM, and he worked for Ted Turner.
Damn, an accountant.
That's how I ended up
at MGM.
Yeah, that's how I ended up. Oh yeah, dude, that's how I ended up in fucking the office that I worked in.
You fucking name dropped your dad. What?
Yeah. Well, my dad's best friend was in his executive office. Let's put it that way.
See, kids, it's not what you know, but who you know.
That's exactly it. It's who you know. And I knew the director's fucking money person.
That's crazy, dude. That's awesome.
She hired me. That's how I got my job.
That's awesome.
I was literally a temp. That was my first job, was like temping for his secretary.
That's ideal too, because you went from temp to hire, huh?
I went from temp to freelance to freelance to freelance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was on payroll, but I like came in, clocked in, gave my timesheet for the week, and they like, did my mileage.
Yeah. It's a
Glorified
shame.
runner.
It's a shame that
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to I changed the clip because we got to talking about Star Wars. It's a shame that they did that to what's her name, Daisy Ridley, because she's so cute. She seems like a good actress, and it's a shame that they made her do that.
Fucking fantastic.
Like, I feel like she's getting a bad, the actress.
Too.
I feel like the actress doesn't deserve hate for doing her job.
Correct, and that's the problem. That's the big thing about Hollywood. That's what happened to like Emma Watson when she was Hermione Granger in Harry Potter.
Why? What happened to her?
They like sexualized her, dragged her through the coals, and did all kinds of shit.
Oh, Emma Watson?
Yeah.
You mean like in Hollywood?
Yeah. Yes.
Damn.
Hollywood and across the globe.
Damn.
Yeah, because when Harry Potter first came out, like, we were kids.
Yeah,
I remember I was like in second grade.
We were all kids. We were the age of them in the first movie.
Right.
We were 11 when it came out. Or at least I was. I'm pretty sure I was 11 when the first film came out.
You and I are the same age.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you and I are still the same age.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought maybe one of us... Oh, I'm getting older slightly faster.
That's okay. We're both injured on our left leg.
Okay, so you're saying, okay, so 11-year-old, and you're saying she's being sexualized from the get-go.
Well, not just at the get-go, right? Like, they're trying
to indoctrinate
her too. They want people that are. Sorry.
No, I didn't mean to speak over you. I said that they were trying to also indoctrinate her since she was young.
Yes and no. So, like, it goes in this whole kind of, like, they pick people that are good looking, right? Not just because of their acting skills, but how well they mesh together as a team, right? So you learn this in acting, right? I acted for the whole time while I was there. Before I enrolled in college and everything like that, I started acting, right? I went to school for this. So one thing that they tell you is if you don't get the job, it's not 100% you, right? There's a team that they're building, right? You have to work well with your coworkers, right? So a lot of things are based on personality clashes, how you look, what the vision is for the project, and the end goal. Okay? So I've watched tons of shit on Harry Potter. Yeah, I've watched tons of behind the scenes on Harry Potter. I'm a fucking Harry Potter nerd. Okay? Obviously, we talk about Star Wars. When the directors met Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson, they knew that the three of them would be perfect, right? Emma Watson beat out the other girl because the other girl looked too old.
Okay.
And I mean, Emma Watson is the perfect Hermione Granger. She is Hermione Granger. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's what ended up happening, right, is that they all meshed really well together. But as she grew into the role, right, because when the kids got signed for Harry Potter, this was like a 7 to 10 year contract. Okay, they'd get summers off, right, just like going to school, and then they'd film again, and then they'd take off the time, and then they'd come back. Okay.
Right.
which is why we grew up with them, and we all grew up together, right?
Right.
Now, as you're going through that change between like, so okay, in the Harry Potter series, there's the same director for like the first 2 to 3 movies, and then it switches, and then the last couple of films has a different director.
Yeah.
Because
Chris
the
Columbus
tone
did the
of
first
story,
one, I think.
she had like the 20-year reunion or something like that. Return to Hogwarts came out on Netflix. I totally cried through the whole thing because like that was because I was in Europe at the time when literally watching J.K. Rowling becoming a woman and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, so like it goes from the regular wholesome into now you're blossoming into like this creature. You know what I mean? And like and then now we come back to like the whole Hollywood thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, yeah, it's impossible not to notice it. It's impossible not to notice it because you're literally filming people going through puberty.
Exactly. And that's where all the perverted things come in.
Oh.
Ideals. And yes, that's where it comes from. Daisy Ridley looks like she's fucking 15. I'm just gonna say it, you know what I mean? Like, even though she was like probably like 22, 24, 25,
she's just
filming Star Wars.
She's just petite.
Not just that, but her features, her face, her whole, she's very young and beautiful.
How old is she?
Oh God, I can't remember. She's in her 20s, I believe.
I have no idea now that you mention it.
It's been a hot minute since I like checked her out.
I mean, Hermione's wearing form-fitting clothes here in what looks to be Goblet of Fire, the 4th movie.
Yeah, and you see the change in the style. So they went from being 100% in their like Hogwarts robes and stuff like that. And now, as the adventure
dressing like teenagers later,
you see, because the Harry Potter series takes place in the 90s.
Oh, they wanted the sex, but you know they wanted to. You know they tried to make all of them sexier. You know what I'm saying? They tried to make all of them into like teenage heartthrobs for the films.
Oh, for sure. Why do you think everyone's like in love with Draco Malfoy? Even though he's the bad guy, he's very handsome. Tom Felton is incredibly handsome.
Yeah.
Even Daniel Radcliffe. I had a crush on Ron Weasley. And I'm not really into gingers, but he's a good-looking fucking ginger.
Right. So that's part of the job, right? To show up and like be good-looking.
Right. Well, and here's the thing: it's easier for the guys than it is for the girls.
Yeah, I can believe that. I can definitely believe that based on because of people like Harvey Weinstein and those
ding, ding, ding.
And then those types of associates.
Exactly.
So they're saying that Leslie Hedgerow, who's making one of the new Star Wars shows, was his personal assistant.
Right.
That's
insane. What you were telling me in the beginning.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. It's all about, like, keeping things under wraps, brushing it under the rug.
So, what has Emma Watson said about that stuff? Yes. Yes. Yeah, this looks like a, that looked like an Order of the Phoenix clip, and it's focusing on her. It focused on her, well, her body, basically. She, like, kneels down in front of Harry. Hold on, I gotta find it again. and then send you the link.
Not coming out on my stuff, even though I'm connected.
It says you hearted it.
I know. I was trying to pull it up on my. That's from my what's it called? From my phone.
Got it. Oh, I see. I see. Okay, here.
Left is
There. You got the new link?
from a couple days ago. Yeah. Let me see if it'll pull up over here. I don't know what the fuck is going on with that.
Damn. I kind of want to hear her. Like, I had no idea that went down with her in the Harry Potter production.
That's the problem. It's the film industry, and it has to do with please do, because I would love to watch this. I will tell you 100%.
Hey, so.
Okay, first off, who the fuck is that?
Oh no!
I'm looking it up. Tommy Wiseau. How do I spell that?
WIS.
I see. No. I found it. Oh my god. He is creepy looking, one. He looks like Michael Jackson. And, okay.
So you've never seen it then?
I don't know who the fuck this guy is.
Dude, we should have a watch party and watch The Room.
The one that he
made.
Did?
The one that he made, yeah.
He looks so scary looking. Like a parody of fucking Kiss.
A parody of Kiss. Oh my god, that's good shit. Oh my god.
Have you not seen the fucking first thing that pops up on the internet when you look him up? Look, I'm gonna send it to you.
No, I haven't. But I know what he looks like. I thought I knew what he looked like.
This is fucking the first thing that I saw when I saw this motherfucker.
I'm waiting.
Does that make sense how I reacted now? I was like, okay, what is your beef with this guy?
I don't have any beef with him. I love him.
No, I don't mean like beef, but like your question mark.
I just wanted I wanted to know your thoughts on him, thoughts on his work, on him and his work. Because he's a filmmaker, but he's a different cookie cutter from Hollywood.
Oh.
He's different.
I see.
He's different cookie cutter from Hollywood.
First off, he's Polish. Second off, there's a picture here with him and fucking Franco. I guess. Disaster artist. Okay, got it.
Yeah. He's different cookie cutter from Hollywood.
No, he's definitely different cookie cutter. So look, here's the thing. You can ride under the radar easily, right?
Yeah.
But you can't hide. Let's just put it that way.
A lot of people think that he made his money in very suspicious ways. And they, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
when I was literally looking up, right? The suggested topics under here, why is Tommy Wiseau so rich? What is his accent? What ethnicity? Like, what? Why is that the first thing in suggestions? You know what I'm saying?
Why is Tommy Wiseau so rich?
Yeah, and it says according to him, so he made his fortune via real estate in San Francisco. Okay. How was the Room absurd $6 million budget actually funded? Like, what?
That was his money.
I'm about to look up. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm looking up this.
It's got a pretty bomb soundtrack.
It's a comedy romance.
The soundtrack is pretty good.
With the way that he looks, it better be fucking good. Okay.
It has multiple lovemaking scenes in it.
Ah. Okay, so that's really funny. Because there is a whole thing about James Franco, and then his whole teaching people how to have sex in Hollywood films.
What?
Shit. What the fuck? James Franco plays Tommy Wiseau in Disaster Artist. This is interesting. Oh my god, I should definitely watch this. This is like a biography.
Yeah, but Tommy doesn't approve. He only approves of 40% of it.
This is hilarious. I'm gonna fucking watch this.
Yeah, but you should probably watch the original movie first.
Which movie?
The Room.
Okay, watch The Room, then watch Disaster Artist.
Yeah. And then watch Best Friends Volumes 1 and 2.
Okay.
It's a cinematic universe.
You're gonna have to remind me.
It's the Wiseau-verse.
Oh my god. You were literally unlocking something in my fucking brain. Samurai Cop 2. This is fucking hilarious. The Room Returns. Shut up.
Oh, hi, doggy.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Mark.
No.
If you don't have... Oh, my gosh. You have to see The Room. You gotta see it.
Did you say Best Friends?
Yeah, Volumes 1 and 2.
Okay, I found Best Friends Volume 1. I'll have to talk to my people who download movies and shit to send them to.
Okay, I gotta take this call. It was good chatting. I gotta take this call. Hello? Hello? Ένα λεπτό. Ένα λεπτό.